Shalom, shalom to the remnant, to the called, and to the elect. This is Sibaya with a response, a response video to the propaganda and the slur campaign of those that have been either removed from this group or have left willingly on their own one way or another. TEO is the fool that has decided to take up that case. And so I've warned everyone that Yah does not leave anyone without a witness. Yakoba says that he is doing this because I initially attacked him, but we can prove right now that I'm going to prove it right now. Let's see. Give me 1 second. All right. So we can see that we on Yakoba's page, right? This is his page, just like he pulled up my page, right? And so the first lie is that he didn't say anything about me, to me, mention me, cared about me. I'm just responding because he's helping someone through T3 and me, his two goons that left my ministry, that he wasn't gonna say nothing about me. Well, we can see here, streamed 2 weeks ago. How should we flee? How should we flee? 2 weeks ago, all right?
If any of y'all,
at times, I believe it was 50.
you know, one thing I want to add is every decision you make is yours. Right now, I was talking to one of our listeners, and she was telling me how she went and joined this this Hebrew Israelite organization run by a woman. And, you know, they went to Egypt and stuff. And so then, you know, they all got into a tiff. And, you know, they went to Egypt and stuff. And they got into a tiff. And so she had to leave, and she's in Turkey now. She's planning on going to Africa, but, you know, like for me, I don't follow groups, right? I don't follow.
Let me just stop right there. Where did you hear him say anything about helping her out? So number one, y'all can listen to the rest. He speaks against me, which I already played it in the video. I'm gonna show you that it was a response to this. So he's the one that attacked first. I don't follow groups. I don't follow occults. I don't want your money. I don't want followers. I'm not gonna join anybody that if I go against the grain. What's the grain, y'all? The grain is the word. And why would you join somebody's group that you see the way the grain is moving, get in someone's group and then go against the grain? What do you think is going to happen anywhere? That's a law of the world. Even Yakoba, let me play it for you, through his two goons, said that if they don't want to get with his program, they can what? They're going to shake the dust off, and they can go their own way. So this is hypocrisy number one. This is not occultism. This is called organizations and order in any establishment. This happens from school to home to college to work to a group of friends, a book club. You go against the grain, meaning you get into something and you've been told what the grain is, and the grain is the word. That's the bread of Yahushua. And you go into there to go against the grain, then you are a rebel. Even in Satan's own occult, if you do that to Satan, you about to get it. That's number one. So he called me a cult, and he said, I just want your money, and I was a false prophet. He did not prove that I was a false prophet. However, I'm proving that he's false prophesizing, right? This is my whole issue at the end of the day, is false prophesizing and calling their work the work of the kingdom. And he is darn near claiming to be a prophet if he says that Yah has anointed him. He didn't say Yah, he said Jesus. In the name of the Most High has anointed him and his two goons that he re-anointed to establish the kingdom all over Africa. That's 3 times bigger than America. Black Wall Street. He says, I want your money, but yet I'm showing you where y'all have paid for the land. He's mad now because I've exposed the fact that he already had the land. They was pretending like they still needed more of your money to get the land. Now, watch this, that I exposed them. Oh, we got land now. But I exposed it, right? Because I already heard foot on the ground testimony of people that already went to see the land and how much they charging people for the land. It's extortion. It's usury. It's credit. It's a game. It's a gimmick to make money and make merchandise off of you, right? First of all, there's no Jim Jones here. I don't have no land. I don't own anything. I don't even have a car. I don't even have a bike. I don't have my donkey. Right? And so, and he says, I just want your money. Yes, if you're going to join the group physically, and I'm going to give you testimony why that's important. It's the law. I know what Christians say. I'm not talking about Christians. It's the law. It's the order of Melchizedek that was established before the Levitical priesthood. And so you don't have to be a Levite. You don't have to be a Levite. You just have to be an anointed prophet priest under the order of Melchizedek. And anybody that knows anything about who Melchizedek was, that was Abraham's great-great-great-great-grandfather. That was Shem, Noah's son, who was the high priest, also called Melchizedek. So he didn't just go and give him 10% for no reason. Guess what? This Melchizedek had made a judgment, and you don't go before a priest, prophet, king, empty-handed. And whenever they speak to you the word of Yah that causes you to be successful or get your judgment, you got to pay 10%. That's the word of Yah. That's what he established in the beginning. That's what he established in the end. Guess what? Offerings called free will offerings is a commandment, y'all. You let the church make it think that it's just something when you feel like it. Yeah, it's supposed to be from your heart. There is no, how do I say? There actually is a time, a request when you give free will offerings. It's not right, but as we have no order of the temple right now, is the churches teach you is as you free will, right? But they don't teach you that that's actually still a commandment. What makes it free will is that there's no price on it. That is supposed to be from the depths of your gratitude and your heart. Okay. So that's number one. He lied. He lied that he didn't say nothing about me. That times 50, and then another point, and I'll cue it up again. He's speaking about me, and he's making final judgments that I'm a false prophet. I'm stealing your money. I'm not helping people. And I'm gonna show you all that's a lie. Even the woman's letter. I told you, Yah leaves nothing without witnesses, right? And so in this age of technology, people should be really careful what they say. All right. So that being said, so he did this 2 weeks ago. How should we flee? Right? How should we flee? 2 weeks ago. All right. Now we in my page. This is my page right here. All right. Teotw rebuke. I'm rebuking him. Why am I rebuking him? Because he's leading people astray, and he called my name and he asked for my judgment. And so he got it. He got it. And then I exposed these liars. What they doing? They didn't have no money when they got there. They living off of your money. Both of them. They're not entrepreneurship. They just live. What's that? What's that? So what? That they can make fake fronts and businesses because you send them millions of dollars. So what? Right? And so you can see 7 days ago is my response to Teotw. So he's the punk, I think, that wants my attention. And you got it. And you don't know who you messing with. I'm a daughter of Yah, I'm a warrior, and you're going to find out. So you the fool that's going to take up the cause of all my rebels. They're going to all come on your show. They're going to get their false testimony. And then you're going to be proven to be someone who has no discernment to judge what is true or what is not. That you don't ask questions. You don't ask for no backup or no proof. Now we know in this age, people can lie about stuff, but we got proof, right? We got that. And you're going to look like a fool at the end of the day. And then by the time it's all over, Yah's going to reveal you. So Yah's going to reveal you. Okay, so that's number one. We see that he told a lie. Okay. All right. So I'm going to play some of his words, his sum up of what he's reading, right? I'm going to play his sum up, and then we're going to read this woman's letter. We're going to read this woman's letter. Now, you only see Sibaya here. Make no mistake. My whole family is here. Hallelujah. Can I get y'all amen? Hallelujah. 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 Amen.
Hallelujah.
I'm going to blot their faces out. But so you can get a peek. Bam. My whole family, 30 plus, under 100, is here. Is here to bear witness to everything that this woman is saying. And then once I finish this, y'all, once I finish this, then I'm going to play this woman's, I'm going to play the judgment, the so-called judgment that I had with this woman. And you're going to see that she's lying about everything in there by what I'm saying and by what she's saying. All right. Okay. So let me just play Yakoba's before we get to the letter. All right. So I'm queuing this up. I'm at times 27. We're going to go back, but I'm going to queue up after he reads this letter, his final statements, right? It's the same. He's spewing out the same rhetoric. He's going to keep spewing that out. And then when he get more false accusations, you're going to see more personal rhetoric that he's going to spew out. All right. This is his final statement.
And come to her, but she got the nerve to want to attack her. And one, I want you all to pray for Sister Emily that the Most High bless her and protect her and keep her and provide for her, because she's by herself. And this woman took advantage of her. This woman took advantage of her and 100 other people, took their money, sold their homes, left, followed her, and gave 10% of their income to her. But she got the nerve to want to attack us. Somebody make it make sense. But this is what I'm trying to tell y'all, right? This is dangerous.
Okay. So you hear that? You hear the sum up, right? I got over 100 followers. I made them sell their houses. What else? What did he just say? 10% of all their income before they leave America. They sold their homes. He also says again that I separated marriages. I separated marriages, and people left their husbands or their wives, sold their homes, gave 10% of all their income to me, and before they came, and I left this woman by herself. She needs help. She has no money, and she's left for self. We're going to show you that all of this is lies. We're going to get the testimony of everyone in my group about this woman and what took place. And then I'm going to give you the actual, I'm going to let you hear in the next video 2 judgments about the same issue. And let's see if what she's saying in this letter is what took place in the judgment. Now, he says here at 29:42, that Moses didn't have judgment sessions. Okay.
She has no peace. This is why she has judgment sessions. The only one that can judge is for the Yah. Even Moses ain't had no judgment sessions. What happened was, y'all know your Bible. They had to get judges, and they would bring their cases like you would to a court of law.
That's it. So Moses was the judge. He had to do it all by himself because there was 100 million of y'all rebellious Negroes and women and children that was fighting, stealing each other, cursing at each other, using each other, abusing each other in the wilderness. It wore him out. And so he said, yeah, I need help. And then he had to set up judges, 72 for 1 million. Think about it. 72. Now he says they're all men, but we can prove that Yah made no prerequisite that the 72 Sanhedrin leaders had to be just men. And you don't know that. He just said men, which is a general term for persons, right? But we showed you that they knew that that couldn't be what Yah didn't make no determination, and thou shalt not appoint a woman as a judge. We know that through Deborah, because she was the only one. She was Moshe alone that judged who? Just 30 people? Just women? Just the army? It says she judged what? The whole house of Israel. So y'all know the word. Don't let this Negro change the storyline. And that's what he's good at, right? All right, Jim Jones, Kool-Aid, right? False prophet. Okay, listen to what he says that's against the word, right? When he says go against the grain, I want you to understand the grain is the word of Yah. There's no tear up in here. He's chewing on thorns and thistles. That's what he's speaking to y'all. We speak the word. We speak the word, all right? 32. Give me a second.
So now we're fighting the Ish people. We're fighting somebody who controls the economic system of the world. And I still got to deal with this foolishness. I still got to deal with the false prophets and the false prophetesses, the deceivers, those who breaking up homes. Who does that but the devil?
Okay, you heard that? He said only the devil breaks up homes.
Lies.
That's the word.
Lies.
Okay.
Takes a little old lady's money and say, come, give me 10%. I'm your boss now. Follow me to Egypt because I'm anointed of Yah. I'm the Mosezet. I know that's not a word. I just.
Okay. So here's one of the biggest issues that people don't know. I keep telling it to you. You're going to hear the people say it. When they grouped together in Egypt, I wasn't even there. Nobody came to me. The plan was not to go to Jordan first. Everybody had their own plan to get wherever they chose within the borders. Some people were trying to go to Israel. Some people were trying to go to Jordan, and some decided they want to go to Egypt. I was not there. I only visited, as a leader should do, to make sure everything is working out between them. But what happened is that when I left, what happened? I got calls every day, just like Moshe got worn out every day because the people was backbiting. They brought Egypt into the wilderness. They brought Babylon into the land. And so somebody has to set up judgment. Now, when I left, I wasn't I'm the head of the group in the sense of a prophet that they followed my word. Were y'all underneath my wings? No. Yes, please.
I would like to say, because I got here in February 2020 or 2021, one of those years. And when I first arrived in Egypt, Talia was not here. Actually, honestly, I was a little shocked because I thought she was here. But that's neither here nor there. But I came to the group, and who was in charge at the time was Oral, and then I later found out that Mr. Rita was one of the elders. And so Talia was not there when in 2021, I think it was, 2020.
This is the biggest lie. I never told anyone to group up and come to me. They grouped up themselves because of the situation of COVID. They all jumped, and a lot of them jumped without my, permission to do it. Like when I say, I can't tell nobody not to leave. But they all jumped on because they were on the board. They all left and flocked to where the main body of the group was. But we set up the way Torah says to set up, elders and leaders. And there was a man and the eldest sister, our Ima here, on that board. And two others, depending on how big the situation was. If anything was too big, y'all couldn't get to it, y'all would call me. But everything was big, right? And so, no, I'm no Moshe. You can count me as Sibaya, though. Okay, go ahead.
I wanted to say something. So it's a fact also that before there was a Zoom meeting or a Zoom group, before there was an Egypt group, before there was any group, there were people requesting for Sibaya to do Shabbat lessons. They were just about agitating her, basically saying, please, we need these messages. We need Torah. We need to learn Torah. Can you teach us Torah? And so Talia found out a way through wisdom, because at the time she was in Israel, and those who were requesting of her services or for her teachings on Shabbat were in the States. She had to find out the best route, the best way to serve the people, to give them the bread, to give them the honey,
grain,
to give them the milk, to give them the meat of the word. And so from all of this, it stemmed from the request of the people. And because I know Talia firsthand, and she's been this way since I've met her, she's always looking for a way to make sure that Yah's word is given to his people, regardless of her, her position. She's always sacrificing herself to make sure that she is shepherding the sheep according to Yah's will. So it was always a situation where the people asked for it.
All right. So no, I didn't put the group together. It was strongly requested for me. Before I asked for 1 cent, I never asked 1 cent from anybody when I first gave the word. What took place? Can anybody tell what happened that it became established the way it established, and that there needed to be at least an offering? And that's all I requested. And when I say kindly requested, only a few people on the board actually did that. But I didn't turn anybody off my board except one person that asked me to give 2 lessons a week and refused to give $1. And the whole time on my board, I was helping homeless mothers and children. Right? Y'all can see the expo video on Sibaya. I posted about what I said about by the time I requested for the offerings, right? Can anybody tell them how I wound up receiving any money from anybody? I never even had a PayPal. Now, y'all really think I got millions with one account, PayPal? Think about it. Think about it.
Let me stop you real quick. I just want to
You got to come closer to the mic.
Can you hear me? Is it clear?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so what I want to say, the tithes, Sibaya, Talia has never asked or demanded anyone to pay tithes. What Talia Sibaya did was tell you what the word say, and the word says it's a commandment to pay tithes, 10%. Did she ever go after anyone? Oh, you're receiving lessons from me, so now you got to pay your tithes. She never did that. People paid their tithes who wanted to pay their tithes and be obedient to Yahweh's word. Secondly, people who wanted to do a free will offering, that's exactly what it was. They gave it freely out of the kindness of their heart and the gratitude and thankfulness of the word that Sibaya taught and still is teaching. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Yeah, but what was the circumstance? Who was there that knew the circumstance that even caused me to have a need for $1? What took place?
You actually stopped working during that time. And so you were like, how, that you wanted to continue to give the word out. But I don't know how to say in such, by you needing to continue to give the word out, I don't know how to say you were requesting from the people, but for you to work, you couldn't do both. You couldn't serve the people and continue to do manual labor.
So I was a welder. I was a welder.
Yes.
I was a welder here in Israel. I worked for a company and I did all the work for the company, right? And so here in Israel, it's 6 days a week. Friday, you get off early, and Saturday you off, and Sunday you back at work. So they're requested for Shabbat lessons. How could I do that when we're 10 and 7 hours difference? I was teaching till, you can see my videos where it's nighttime. I was teaching till 3, 4 in the morning. There was no way that I can go to work Sunday morning at 6 o'clock after finished teaching 8 hours, 5 hours of Shabbat lesson after Shabbat lesson. And so I had to go to work. We had a choice. They made the choice. They said, Sibaya, you're a prophetess of Yah. You were sent to give the word. We should support you. You shouldn't have to work. You shouldn't have to divide your time, meaning business. And I said, so be it. So be it. All right. So he says, who divides? Anybody got the word on that? What did Messiah say? Matthew, what did Messiah say? Think not. Don't think it. So is Yehoshua the devil now? You got people on his board saying, why y'all trying to live like Yehoshua? We not in that old time. Think not. Matthews, let's get a word. We're not just gonna say, you know the word, because y'all don't know the word, obviously. If you letting this man say stuff like that to you, you should be offended. Hold on 1 second. All right, we're in Matthews 10. Let's get some word on that. Let's see if this man really speaks the bread of Yehoshua, or he got his own doctrine. Okay, Matthew 10, I think, what you say, 34, 32. Confessing Yehoshua, right? That's what he about to do, right? He put a whole list of 2,000 of y'all Negroes' name open for COINTEL, FBI, and y'all names to do a Hebrew Israelite Global Day of Repentance. changing Yah's feast days, we have a global day of repentance called Yom Kippur, official Teotw. So y'all are signing up with your to the world, and he's calling HB, when y'all are the most targeted people on the FBI wanted terrorist list. Hebrew Israelite Global Repentance Day, December 31st, on a bastard holiday, he has replaced Yah's holy day of Yom Kippur, Day of Atonement, and created his own national repentance day on a pagan day, y'all. Get out of here. Linking up all your YouTube channels and got all your names on this. Are y'all stupid? See, this is what I'm talking about. Because my people is so gullible. Open confession with people y'all don't even know in the face that you, what is he going to confess if he's teaching you that you are saved by the grace of Yahushua and you don't have to keep the commandments? What are y'all confessing? But y'all are stupid for putting him, look at this, I'll get back to that. Confessing. Whosoever therefore shall confess me before men, him will I confess also before my Father which is in heaven. But whosoever shall deny me before men, him will I also deny before my Father which is in heaven. That's also his works, y'all. This man is denying his works and his walk the whole time, as if we're not supposed to walk in the footsteps of Yahushua. Think not that I'm come to seek peace on the earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword. For I have come to set a man at variance against his father, and a daughter against her mother, and a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law, and a man's foes shall be they of his own household. He that loveth father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. But we have this nigga saying this.
But she has 100 people who gave her money, sold their homes, left their spouses, all the signs of a cult. Y'all need to be able to discern who's a cult. Y'all need to be able to discern who's for y'all and who's not. Y'all needed to be able to discern when the devil is in the midst.
What it do? That's an anti-Messiah right there. And he that loveth son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. But we got this nigga saying what?
You know, but if I had a choice, I would leave. Now, does that mean I could get my wife and my family to come with me? Maybe not. I don't know. And if my wife and my son didn't want to come with me, then I guess I'd be stuck like Chuck, right? A lot of people who could leave are going to wish they had left when it hit the fan. I agree. I wish I left already. I just don't have the ability. Let alone do I have consensus with the fam. See, I'm not going to be going by myself and leave my family here.
That's what I thought. And he that taketh not his cross beam, meaning bear the burden of the life to walk this out, just like he did, and followeth after me is not worthy of me. He that findeth his life shall lose it, and he that loseth his life for my sake shall find it. That's the word. All right.
May I also read? I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
This is Mark 10, starting at verse 20.
Mark 10 and 29. Right? Let's see. And Yahushua answered. Who answered? Yahushua answered and said, verily I say unto you, there is no man that has left house, or brethren, or sisters, or father, or mother, or wife, or children, or lands for my sake and the glad tidings, but he shall receive 100-fold now in this time. I don't like that, because that's not what it says. It says in an opportune time. Opportune time. It does not say now. Opportune time, houses and brothers and sisters and mothers and children and lands with what? Persecutions. And in the world to come, eternal life. But many that are first shall be last, and the last shall be first. All right, let's get back to it. That's going against the grain. All right. So that was his sum up. I think he has another sum up. Let's see. He made an accusation here at 38. We're gonna let that accusation of the person testify for herself. And then she can tell you what Emily's stake is it in this person, right? Or should I bring that out later? Well, she said there's a 70-year-old woman paying for everything. Well, if a 7-year-old woman is paying for everything, then where the millions at? Like that not making sense. You want to hold on? Let me play. You want to speak to that now, Mama?
I can.
Hold on. Let me play it. See, now I'm not going to reveal all my workings. Y'all really don't know how this work, what's going on here. Neither does she. How does she know that? All right, let's play it.
That's what I heard. So Sabaya said, you approve going about your business. Sabaya said, you unapprove, you excommunicated. Sabaya said, if you give me some more money, you can stay. But if you run out of money, you got to go. See, this is why it's me and the Most High. I don't rely, or at least, let's put it this way. I don't even try to rely on family. Even though sometimes you have to. But I try my best to stand on my own feet. Because man will let you down. See, these people that's following her are deceived. And they believe anything she said. There's a haze on their minds. I heard there's a 70-year-old woman who's paying for everything. That's what I heard.
Okay. Miss 70-year-old mama, our elder, one of the leaders of the council that you just heard the brother witness to. You can pull your chair out so you can be comfortable. They can hear you from there. Yes. Our elder, our mama. That's right. She was part of the council. And she's the leader of this group.
Only a fool would say what he heard and have no evidence to support it. Yes, I am a 70-year-old woman, and I do a lot to support this ministry. But I'm not spending all my money to support this ministry. We are a family.
That's right.
We function as a family, and just as a family supports its own, I am helping to support this family. You are a fool, young man, to suggest that what Emily said to you was the truth with no evidence to support it.
And if I may say,
Okay, this is the 70-year-old woman's daughter, the one that she said she lived with. We're gonna get more of their testimony about what happened when she lived with them, and we're gonna get her. Watch, y'all gonna hear it all. Yakoba, you done. You done. You the fool that thought I ain't had no witness. Come on now. And this ain't even all of it. Go ahead. Go ahead.
if I can just say as a character witness for my mother, that when we learned that we were in a false doctrine, truly deceived by Christianity, she saved all of her hard-earned tithe money that she had been given to the church for so many years. She said to me that in her heart, she felt like it needed to go somewhere, but it couldn't go to the church anymore, and that she was going to continue to work hard and save money until she found a place that she could give that money to support her people as they continue to come into the knowledge of the truth. And then once we learned that we were supposed to come out of Babylon and flee, that she was going to give her money to support that ministry. And so her character from the very beginning, before we even knew who Atalia, Zibaya, anybody else who is now our family was that she was going to give her money until the day she died toward the cause, towards righteousness.
And Emily was one of the people that received my
That's right.
support.
That's right. We're gonna find out. We left her for what? Watch, y'all gonna hear it, and you're gonna hear her lie. You're gonna hear that this woman is lying. Okay, so we're gonna go back to his absolute statement again, and then we're gonna go back to Emily's letter, and then by the time I probably do round two, Kenneth, he's we know that Kenneth, the slut and the habitual liar and the one who has used ministry all his life to seduce women to have his way with them, he's going to come with his abnormally abstract testimony. And what you see, what we're going to do here by 2 or 3 videos will be done for everybody else that Yakoba takes up. Okay, and so yes, a lot of you are going to believe what Yakoba say. You won't go through the evidence because you're unright. That's why y'all not judges, right? And we can see that Yakoba is not worthy to be a judge because he would do more due diligence to find out if what I'm saying is the truth, not by people that either got kicked out like that. Like that don't make no sense, right? Why now they come in because they got. If I'm on a cult and they gonna say all this bad stuff that I was doing for 2 years, then why they had to wait till they got kicked out? And why they mad? Why they mad? What a coach just be like, okay, go, right? If you don't want it, go. Everybody's free to go. If you don't want to follow the grain, the word of Yah, you are free to go. This is not an occult, all right? But this is not telling you they kick nobody out just because they didn't have money. We talk about people that's sitting up, didn't take my advice, didn't take my advice. They calculated my money because this girl put it up there that I was going to help the poor and the homeless. And so they calculated that I can come here knowing that everybody got to get a job if they're going to maintain online, and it may be difficult. It may be difficult. So do your best, and Sipaya, through the help of Yah, through the ministry of Yah, will do the rest. But if somebody come and then it's just, they don't give no account. They don't. They sitting up there lazy. You don't know what they doing all day long. Nothing. And they're going to come to you at the end, the day of each month, and be like, I can't pay my rent again. Can you pay it again? I can't pay my rent again. Can you pay? And you tell the brother or the sister, can you please not come to me after the rent is supposed to be paid? Can you give me an account to let me know that you're not sitting behind your computer, watching other women with 5 kids, watching other ministries, trying to see how you can get on their ministries, and that you actually ministering to yourself. Paul said, a man don't what? Don't work, don't eat. That's the word. That's the word. It ain't got nothing to do with not helping the poor. Talia has done that, and I'm gonna prove that I've done it. I got receipts for everything. Right? But no, I'm not a millionaire. Okay, so let's go back. So all he's doing is repeating this woman's talking point. Now I'm gonna say again, as we know, as they painted what an occult is, that seems like a really bad thing. But the occult has been emulators. This is what Satan do. The cults have been emulators of what Yahoshua's cult was. Right? Yahoshua had a cult. We didn't call it cults. We called them groups, communities. That's what it is. But yet this man said, I don't want followers, and I don't want you to follow me, and don't join groups. That's what he said, right? Don't follow groups, don't join groups, because if you go against the grain, they can kick you out. But you got this guy saying this once again.
On your channel, the system is against us because this system was not made for the Israelites. So in order for us to become that kingdom again, we have to work together. We got to put away petty differences, bickering over things that, like I like to tell people, yes, the 400 years is up. We are remembering who we are, but some people get so caught up in trying to be super group that they still do the same thing that we got in Christianity. They kick people out, push people away because, oh, well, you don't think the way I do. And it's like the Most High said he was going to gather his people and he was going to plead with us, meaning y'all still ain't gonna get it right. I've got to come and show y'all how this is supposed to be done, but you've got to be on one accord, meaning you've got to be willing to work together to get to where I need you to be. So when I come and I tell you how it's supposed to be, it all works out.
That was stupid.
Repatriates.
We've met patriots, just, being honest, that are on the same thing that, us and T3 and me is on. And unfortunately, you have some people here that are still brought that West mentality. I'm not gonna lie about it, and honestly, we shake the dust off our sandals with them, and we move with those who are trying to move in the way of the Most High. So we got to get it right this time. And I'm gonna say it like Brother Tim said it to me the other day. I ain't got time for people who not trying to do the work of the Most High. I don't have time for it. So that's the best way I can put it for you, Mr. Yakoba.
Now they got land. Now look, now they building a what? A community. All right. I'm sure they're vetting people based upon their belief systems and their walk in life. Who they gonna let on their land? All 144,000. Not one of them is coming to that land. They gotta vet people. The process of how he vets people is the issue. Is he vetting people according to the commandments and the word, or is he vetting people according to their bank accounts and business entrepreneurship ideas? Okay. All right. Okay. So we're going to read her letter. I believe the first couple of minutes, she's telling her little sob story. And her story is full of lies. That's half of her story. She was military, which she only told us in the last minute. She was ex-military. She had worked for the military and she retired, right? So we're going to tell you about her retirement money and all of that. The woman is not helpless. She can get to Africa tomorrow, yesterday, if she wanted to, right? She's just trying to figure out what other group is going to be a sucker enough to take it in. I said, I can't wait till they meet this woman. Now, she's going to give you her best face, but the woman is crazy. Don't tell me about praying for nobody. That's what we've been doing. Then judgment, and then prayer, and then judgment. And if they don't change and they keep doing what they're doing, they got to go. Who says nobody get what? Show me anywhere in the Torah that there was the assembly, the synagogues, the people, the community, the land, the apostles, the kahal. Show me anywhere where they didn't have a rule if you went against the word that they instituted that you wanted to be a part of, that you didn't get kicked out. Show me that. Where that's not even practical, y'all. It's not practical. Where is that in the word that people shouldn't get kicked out just because they decide to go against the grain? You know what going against the grain means? Where do you find that word going against the grain in Torah? It's called rebellion. That's called a rebel. That's called a wicked man. That's called a devil. And don't nobody have to let the devil, a rebel, in their home, in their assembly, in their school, in their house, in their community, on their land, or in their car, in their bed, whatever you calling it. All right. So let's see. He says she's a good person. How do you know she's a good person? He says she's a good person. And when she met me, right? So we're going to read it. At times, 12, we're going to read it. We're not going to hear his, we're going to read it. And then we're going to speak to it as a family. Let me open this up. All right.
Thank you, YouTube, for now doing this.
Oh, I didn't even know. All right. So this is the beginning of her testimony to me. She says, I became a part of her ministry called Meat No Milk Ministries. We met weekly via Zoom as I added her to virtual board on Skype. I had to watch her teachings on Shabbat. Like, y'all, she asked to join. Hold on, where's the one that she just said? She asked to join my Zoom teachings, not my group, which was on Shabbat. How do you join my Zoom teachings on Shabbat and don't come to the Zoom teachings on Shabbat? So she's saying this like this was some command. She didn't have to watch she didn't ever have to come. That was at everyone's request, right? She had to watch her teaching. No, she was live on my Zoom, y'all, on the Shabbat, which was one of the requirements to be part of her. How do you, oh my, y'all, this is stupid. If at this time, there's no physical group, all just like T.O., right? And he's saying he's a ministry. So where's his ministry? Online or on his lives. So how do you join somebody's ministry? What was she looking for? What was she looking for? What was she looking to join for if it wasn't to just hear the Shabbat teachings, right? This was a challenge for me since I was working in healthcare. She never told me anything about her working on no Shabbat. Didn't hear no such thing like it.
And if I may say that also the majority of Zibai's teachings are posted to YouTube. And so while she should have been keeping Shabbat, if for whatever reason she chose to break Shabbat and work, she could catch the video on YouTube later. So,
and she's saying this because TEOW doesn't believe in promoting keeping Shabbat. She's catering to what provokes him in the word, right? So she's making it sound like I forced her to keep Shabbat. No, I ain't forced nobody to do nothing, right? Other lectures for her included clean and unclean, the Garden of Eden, covetousness. Okay, yeah. Yeah, they March 2020, changes at work. I was off for 14 days. My landlord went to New York for a family member funeral since New York was the first state of quarantine because of poly. Therefore, I had to do so. So I was able to attend her Passover lecture via Zoom. She's acted. So first of all of this is a lie. And I'm gonna show you by the testimony of our interactions, our speech, and my so-called judgments. That her changes in the work is that when the COVID hit, her being in healthcare, tell me if I'm a lie, her being a nurse,
Technician.
a nurse's technician. She wasn't even a nurse. She was a nurse's technician. They forced her. She called me crying, saying, Talia, they forcing us to take the COVID test. And I saw that they using the long one. They stuck it all the way up their brain. She said that a couple of them had headaches and they were acting woozy when they came out of line, and that she had held on as long as she could when they was forcing. And so eventually they called her to the office and said, you got to take the COVID test or you got to leave. And she made her own decision based upon the teachings that I have and her belief as a nurse, seeing what they was doing, knowing about the COVID test, that they didn't have to stick nothing all the way up that like that. She decided not to do it and they fired her. There were no, that's what happened. Changes at work was they was going to fire her if she didn't take the COVID test. She refused to take the COVID test of her own free will, right? Yeah, based upon my knowledge and based upon my recommendation of her own free will, and she got fired, right? That's what she told me. And my landlord went to New York for family member's funeral. No, then right after she got fired, from like 1 week later, she said that she got in an altercation with her landlord over keeping Shabbat. I said, you got in an altercation with your landlord over keeping Shabbat? Who is your landlord to tell you you can't? She said, well, I used to go to church with her on Sunday. That used to be her church mate. And she was the madam at the house, meaning she rented a room in this woman's house. And so, and now that I know Emily, I know what took place. She was snobbing and being disrespectful to that woman all up and down in her own house. The woman kicked her out the house in less than, how do I say, maybe 2 weeks of me knowing this woman. Everything fell apart and she came crying. I'm gonna show you this crying. She always do this. I don't have no money. I don't know where I'm gonna go. I can't pay my phone bill. But her first confession to me was bragging about how she had a 20-year affair with a pastor who was married. And then she told the group she didn't know he was married. I said, how do you not know that a pastor is married, that you attended a church? So she was this man's concubine for 20 years. This was her first. And she said, Talia, I didn't want for nothing. He bought me everything. He was my sugar daddy. My apartment, my rent, my phone, everything I wanted. My nails. And so I said, oh, this woman ain't repentant. She's full of covetousness, right? But something happened when she got pregnant with twins. He forced her to abort it. And that caused her to have some kind of cancer in the hysterectomy. And ever since then, she don't have no menstrual. Ever since then, in her younger years, she don't have no menstrual cycle, and she doesn't produce estrogen. So it's made her look like, yes.
Oh, I was just saying, sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I was just also saying that she didn't have a uterus, she had the hysterectomy, and everything that you're saying about Emily is true. She also confessed that stuff to me when we roomed in Soraya in that camp. Those times that I went there with her and stayed in her room, she was very, I would say wicked, you know, especially because she constantly talked about how well-to-do she was with this man that she claimed was taking complete care of her, and that she didn't need or want for anything. And she also felt that now things were changing. She doesn't know what she's going to do, but she was also very foolish with her money.
Yes. So
And if I can be just a third witness.
go ahead.
That myself and several other sisters, when Emily first got to Soraya, sat out, we were just confessing, speaking with one another about how grateful we were to be out. And she gave that same speech of the well-to-do kept woman that she was by this married man.
So is she repented? And so her behavior, no, she not repent. She was bragging about how she was a mistress and she never had nothing. So ever since he kicked her to the curb because of the babies or whatever, and she started I don't know what she looked like, but anyone that know anything about, she doesn't have a wound anymore. She doesn't produce estrogen anymore. Know that messes with your what? Your emotional stability. It's an open door for demonic possession. Okay? So the woman is crazy. I met her crazy, but crazy doesn't mean dumb and innocent. She's not naive. She's very intelligent, right? She's very calculated, and her whole life has been lived learning how to cry that she ain't got nothing. And so we're going to talk about where she got on my board before it even got to Egypt, right? So she's lying about all of that. Her landlord kicked her out, according to her testimony. And so as we had now three homeless people, right? In that same week, Kenneth said his wife kicked him out and that he had nowhere to go. She said, my landlord kicked me out. And also Sister Malka was homeless, right? Didn't have a permanent place to stay. So the money that was being collected, how much money? Anybody know how much money the board, did it go through my hands? We put it out just like Yakoba does, right? Within our community, not strangers. We put it out on the board that his wife, now Kenneth could have been lying to me for all I know, right? To get back at his wife for sleeping around on him and having 2 babies out of wedlock with a man that he ran into while she was having sex and still continue with this woman, right? We put it out on the board. And how much money? Anybody know how much money the group raised for him? It didn't go through my hands. Anybody know?
2,000? 10,000, sorry, 10,000.
It was $10,000 that the group raised for him. And it went directly to him. Not through Sibaya. Not through Sibaya. And then what happened was that even Malka didn't have a home yet, right? What happened, or she might have been working at that time. I'm not sure exactly. Wait, no, you were still homeless. We trying to figure it out, right? Still keeping her afloat. They didn't raise that kind of money for Malka, did they? No, they did not. Right? And she had a child. She was in the street, homeless. And so Emily, the sister that she talked about, Yiska, who was on welfare, she had a home from welfare, Section 8. When I asked her how much she paid, I think she said she paid something anywhere between $60 to $80 a month for rent for a 2-story or 4-story bedroom house in Virginia. So she took her in. This was what was happening on my board with my knowledge. She took her in. I wind up paying, right, to get her stuff out of storage, to pack her stuff. I paid for the U-Haul car for her to relocate. And at the same time, the group, I wasn't in Egypt, I was in Israel. The group had already started going to Egypt. What was she doing? What was she doing, brother? Anybody know what was happening on my board that she wasn't out yet? She wasn't out.
Yeah.
I did not tell this woman that she could come to me yet, right? Or
She
to the
was
group.
doing, you hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
She was double dipping because as you were speaking, I thought that I was the one that paid for the U-Haul. But what this lady would do is she put her sob story on the board and basically complaining about not having something and not having money. And it was multiple people giving her money. And she came to me on several different, well, she didn't come to me. I took up the cause, trying to be a brother in the walk, trying to, do Yah's will, not having the correct understanding at the time, not knowing her circumstances. But I was giving her money and, I calculated it. It came up to about $3,000. And it came to find out that the same things that she was telling me that she needed help for, Zibaya was also giving her money as well.
I was already giving her money. She was double dipping. So I had to put a rule now on the board that nobody share money with each other unless you let me know, because they coming to me and double dipping. They getting twice the money and they're using, this is stealing. All right, go ahead.
Also around this time, COVID relief, I think, was happening. And everybody could apply for unemployment. And she was claiming that she didn't have any money and that she needed help and this and that. And I personally tried to help her to get unemployment, but she was acting really finicky with that. She wouldn't share her screen so I can help her. She was kind of what's the word? Distant as far as the information that, you know, she needed help to get the unemployment, but the way that she acted with that was very suspicious.
She got the unemployment.
She got the help.
The help. Okay, no, she had to just do what you told her to do, right? But she got the unemployment and she got 2 lump sums, 7,000, 7,000, 14,000 before she came back. So at that point, she's living with Justice and Yiska. So, hey, all of this, what she just said is a lie. It's a lie. And I'm gonna prove it to you that I repeat these words to her in her judgment. And she's start crying. And there was planning to Exodus Babylon. No, this was before, they already exited. This is a lie. People already exited. That's right. Right, as soon as COVID hit, she was still on the other side and moved in with Yiska and Justice. People already exited. There was already a group that had formed. They had been together for almost a year before she came along, 6 months. I wasn't there. I only visited for 1 month and then I went back. All right. Anybody want to affirm that or testify to that who was a part of the first group that came out?
Yeah, my family and I came out in October of 2020, and Miss Emily, Yiska and Justice showed up in March or April of 2022.
2022.
Excuse me.
That's
2021.
right.
Excuse me. Yeah. So it was almost a year.
A year later.
Yeah.
No, she wasn't a part of the plan, y'all.
And there were not 100 people.
Okay, here we go. But there were 100 people each week on this Zoom meeting.
No.
Okay, group. Was there ever a time that I had 100 people on my board in the Zoom meeting?
Not when I was there.
Never.
Okay, as an eyewitness, there never was 100 people on the board. You were not in Egypt at the time. You did come and stay 30 days and stayed at our place. Emily was not there at that time. Emily came after we had already moved from Daha, then she came.
The max, my board hit 60 people.
The board, not those who came
A board. That was not my group. I opened up my board willingly to help people get the word. That's it. I did not say I got proof. Everybody that was on my board was not officially a part of Sibaya's ministry. But at that time, I was not putting stuff out there like that. And I said, I don't want, they came crying, please, can I get this word? I want the word, right? Crying. And you gonna hear me testify how people came and my heart went out. I was like, all right, y'all. I'm gonna let them in so they can get the word until I start. That's why it's closed. Because since when I started putting it out there like that, there's no need for people to be there live if they're not a part of this like that, right? And I learned a lot from people just lying to me. And then once you meet them, their whole life is a lie. They're gonna get wind of that. So this is a lie. There was never 100 people on my board. I know, right? The first plan was to go to Jordan. She was not a part of any of those plans, right? We all have been planning a year and a half before this woman joined my group instantly. I just barely knew her. Her and Yamima and Kenneth was one of the most newest people that joined my board. Because of the various lockdowns around the globe, we intended to go to Egypt in August 2020. A portion of the virtual group left and went to Egypt. So the lockdowns, everyone decided to do what? What did y'all decide to do?
Go to Egypt. Yeah.
We decided to jump.
Y'all jumped and y'all all jumped together. I was like, oh my goodness. Y'all all jumped together and formed a group instantly, a family, a community instantly. And Oral was the leader. Okay, I'm the prophet, but he was the leader. People were selling their homes. Okay, people were selling their homes, and whatever they could do, what they could to obey this command and be under her ministry.
Not true.
Not true. What is this?
That is not true.
That is not true. Okay. First of all, I've never once told anybody to sell their home. That's like reasonable deduction. If you believe in it, come out, right, Yakoba? Right, Yakoba? And they don't have money.
And they own a house.
And they own a house, then what would they decide to do? Now, I only know of one person that sold their house, and that's Oral and Vivine. And they did that of their own free will. I never told anyone, but they said that will be their income that they're living off of. And they're never coming back, so it doesn't matter. They got $50,000 off the house. I'm gonna show you the receipts, right? Because there's an accusation that I took people's, what do you call it? Retirement 401ks. This is all lies, all lies. They got $50,000 off that house. I got not 1 cent of it.
And the reason why you know that is because Viv.
Yeah, no, the reason why I know it because Viv started reading the word herself and was like, do I need to give you, right? Because I lost money on the house. I was feeling as I was reading the word that I should give you 5,000. I'm gonna show you the receipt right here, 5,000. And I sent, I'm gonna show you the receipt right here that I sent the money right back. All right, this is a part of my testimony for those who want to continue to slander and lie. And I'm going to prove that all of y'all are going to hell. All right, so I got to wipe out certain things here. Obviously, all of this information, I can't just disclose like that. So I'm letting you know right there, the testimony that I just gave about one family that was all in Vivine that I knew that sold their property of their own accord. I never asked for it. So I'm in October 22. I'm sorry, Friday, let's start back up. Thursday, October 22nd, 2020. Pat, contribution total of tithes and offerings, 200 and an offering and tithes 160, offering 40. Okay. Now at this time, I had not asked anybody to give me tithes or offerings. This was what the group established of their own accord, according to the word that they believed when they came out of the church and whatever they were, or whoever's ministry they was under before, they had established this for the sake of me continuing to teach and to help the group. Talia, when we sold our house in September 2019, I never tied on it. It didn't come to me to do so. Why didn't it come to her to do so? Because Talia never asked. I will send the tithes, $4,018 toda. And I asked the next day, 23rd, 2020, but you have been sending money ever since. Is that not a portion of your tithes lump sum? If not, I understand. Continuing on, her response to me is, at 10:57 a.m. The money we tied ever since was from salary earnings when Oral was working and earning regular pay, starting when we first committed to you in September 2019 that we were going to tithe going forward. This is how it got started. The other, more recent, is from whatever I get from the pandemic unemployment money, which a lot of people from the group was getting this. I had gotten a lump sum, which I tithe and now get small amounts, which I am tithing on. I didn't think to tithe on the money we got from the sale of the house when it was finalized back in September 2019, because I wasn't looking on it as earnings income in that sense, but I thought of it as just a return of some of the money we happened to put into the house. Well, why didn't it come to their mind? Because Talia never gave a command, never spoke about it, never requested it. However, since we were a bit unclear biblically as to what constitutes an increase, we prefer to err on the side of caution and not end up robbing Yah, since he is the provider of all our blessings in the end of the day. We are now learning that giving does not negate, replace from tithes as well. Well, where was they learning? Because I never gave the lesson on tithes. I was never requesting it from anyone. We did establish it as a group under their leadership and someone else. I set up my PayPal because this is what they wanted to do. And according to their understanding, they believed this was the right thing to do. Okay. I'm going to blot that out. This is just my information to my Zoom Shabbat lesson. So this is my response on the same day. Okay, so did you lose money on the house? If so, then I will conclude, don't tithe from it. The world and its system of money can become confusing. That's Sibaya's words, okay? And this is how I dealt with it until it had to become a necessary thing for all of us to come together. All right, and so this is her response the next day, October 24th. It's a Shabbat. Okay, I checked, and yes, we did make a loss on the house. I have already sent the money to you by PayPal. When you send it back, you can please do it in my name, Vivian Staples Sinclair. Although I had set up the payment to you in Oral's name, as we had closed his PayPal account and only my account is currently active. Thanks for clarifying. So this is going what I said. It was only one person that I knew sold their house, and I never asked for it. They did it on their own in 2019, and I gave the money back. No speech of money on the Shabbat. That was my answer. Sorry, I didn't know it was still Shabbat there. We are out, and I thought you were 1 hour ahead of me. So sorry. All right, and so I tell her when her Shabbat is over, and that was the end of the matter. This is my PayPal account. Obviously, I'm going to blot a lot out here, and it's none of your business, and I got to blot out information. I'll take that out. So right here, I'm in October 25th. I got to blot out the name that says Oral Sinclair, right? October 25th completed, refund sent, minus $3,901.48. And on October 22nd, completed, donation received, refunded, $3,901.18. The reason why that is because I believe by sending it back and forth, here we go, PayPal took a fee. Once again, I got to blot it out, but this is Oral St. Clair, October 27th, completed, refunded on October 25th, 2020. Here's Vine of Wisdom for $4,018. Refunded. Right back. Now, I did come to the understanding, whatever you coming out with, you got to give 10% to the whole if you want to function with the whole, right? That's the principle. Yahushua already talked about the woman that gave her all. She gonna inherit the kingdom. I never asked for all. I didn't ask for people's houses, 401ks. I asked for their tithe if they want to join the group. Okay, where we at now? A lot of people that gave tithe already, they didn't give a tithe. They gave back what I already gave them, double already. Like when you look at people's offerings that I gave back, the money that I had already dished out to them, I paid 10 times over. 10 times over. Okay. Okay. So she wasn't involved with none of these plans. She's just speaking based upon the history of the group. People were selling their homes. No, one person sold their home, and I never asked nobody to do it. That's just reasonable deduction if you believe in to come out. Whatever they could do to obey this command and be under her ministry. There was never a command to sell your house to be underneath my ministry. That's a lie. Husbands divorced their wives who did not want to follow Yahweh on this path. Who divorced their wives?
Nobody.
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 Not even Kenneth.
Please speak up.
Yeah.
Hold on. Because she says that the Kenneth divorced his wife. Did Kenneth divorce his wife?
No, Kenneth is married.
No. He's still a married man. And while he was still a married man, he was still crying about trying to get her to come, right? And his son.
Sibaya,
Yes.
I just wanted to go ahead and speak to the selling of the houses. Me and my sister came out together as families.
Oh, okay.
Who was also one who sold her house before coming out. But the purpose of her selling her house was because we knew the command and we knew that there was no reason to return to Babylon. So it only made sense to liquidate everything we had on our exit out.
Did I, when you say you knew the command, did I give a command for you to sell your house? Did I ever?
No,
No.
come out of Babylon.
Yes, the command to come out. Everybody made their own decisions. People, and guess what? There's people in the group that still own their houses. There's no command. Have I told anybody what to do with it?
No.
No. I think it's about maybe 4 or 5 of y'all that still own houses. Have I ever told you, go sell your house?
No.
All those that own houses, you don't have to say your name one by one. No, I want to, all of y'all that own houses, you still have your houses. You may be trying to sell it or not. Did I ever give you a command, sell your house?
No, you did not.
No, you did not.
Okay.
I
Anybody else?
have a family that is in my name and my sister's name. It was my sister's choice to sell the house after I left. I had nothing to do with that.
Okay.
No, you haven't given any of us the command to sell our homes or possessions.
Because I actually
May I
told
say-
people that if you only have a lump sum, it might be wise to keep rent coming in until the system goes down.
May I say something?
Yes.
Yes, this is Ima. I have a family home, that's my father's home, in Jamaica, that you never told anybody to sell anything. And I'm selling, in the process of selling it now, it was left to my brother and to myself. Why? Because I want to be able to help the ministry, common sense. And that's the reason why I'm trying to sell it now.
So I never got one cent. Okay, go ahead.
One more thing to say, you never asked any money of me either. When I spoke to you about coming out with, you know, and I wanted to come out, I was not even part of the group. I basically got into the group through the back door. I slid under the back door. Bless y'all, hallelujah.
Yeah. Bless y'all in your case.
That you're repentant.
But you never asked for anything. The advice that you did give was hold on to your money and spend it wisely. Even when I tried to pay money, you said hold on to it.
And if I could say that, speaking on behalf of my mother and my uncle, they both had homes. My uncle had a family home, my mother had her home, and they both put people into their homes to collect rent money until a time came when they may choose to sell it. And so by no means did they ever receive any instruction, one, that you got to give Zebaiah or the ministry money to come out or to be a part of the ministry, or that you need to sell your house and give money from the sale of your house to the ministry.
Okay. I convinced nobody to divorce their husbands or their wives. There's only one person that I know of that went through a divorce, and if she wants to give her testimony, that's her testimony. By no way did I encourage any divorces.
I'm not talking about me. Everybody pretty much knows my story, but you know, at the end of the day, a lot of us have heard the word through Sibaya, Yahweh's word, and a lot of our marriages, I'm gonna speak for myself, my marriage was really messed up before I even knew of it, Sibaya. And when the word came forward and to gain solace about how I was gonna walk in Yehoshua, if I had made that decision, all of that was based on me. All of that was based on my confession, my repentance to Yah, how I wanted to raise my family and the way that I wanted to walk. So it was solely my decision to divorce my husband because he was in wickedness and I wanted to walk straight with Yah.
All right. So that's
And I'm
hold on.
sorry,
Go ahead.
To say that, that's a red flag if you find yourself a part of some sort of ministry where they're like, sell your house and give me all your money. And so we're not stupid to have to just receive some open command like that and just run with it. That's stupid.
Yeah,
Go
ahead.
Yeah, I'm the uncle, and we still have a family home still in Babylon. It is under the stewardship of my brother. So whenever that is sold, then that will be on him, and he will let us know. But there was never any demand, anything that said we have to give anything.
That's right.
To the
I'd like to speak to, also I had a conversation with Brother Kenneth over the phone. Excuse me, Kenneth, he's not our brother anymore, but Kenneth, who was on the phone, and he was in turmoil about his wife and being separated from her, though he knew that his wife was being unfaithful to him. And so at that time, also I can witness that there was never been any type of decree or anything from Tobiah about people separating from their wives concerning Kenneth.
Nope. Never told nobody to divorce anybody. That's a blatant lie. Okay.
Never. And I'm married with 5 children and one on the way here. And we here, and all she does is encourage us on how to work through our problems in Yehoshua and build a foundation in Yehoshua so that we can be effective.
Who's the head of every wife?
Yehoshua.
The head of every wife is his husband, is her husband who follows in the path of Yehoshua.
And that's what I teach.
And the path of every woman is, the head of every woman is Yehoshua.
That's right. The head of the whole house. All right. So we'll get to Ken if I want to stick to Emily stuff. Nobody got divorced by my hands, and nobody got a divorce except Malka. So people were still married. I want you to understand that when this whole thing about Kenneth falling in love and people falling in love, these people were married people, y'all. So I'm just going to let a sex fest happen on the beach under Sibaya's ministry. They're straight up, they're still married according to the law and according to Yehoshua. No paperwork. And no, we don't believe in multiple wives. Yamima had to go with that Canaanite stuff, right? So let her fast forward. All of what she just said is lies, and I'm gonna continue to prove it, not just by these witnesses, which is the whole group.
And she was not a witness to points 8 through the last few sentences that were read.
The 8 through 9.
Emily was not a witness.
She was not a part
of any conversation or any of that. To know it.
Nope. Let me fast forward because so much has happened after people arrived in Egypt. She wasn't a part of the group when people first came. From August 2020 until now. She wasn't a part of the group.
Show up till 2021.
Right. April 4th, 2021. Here we go. That's a whole year, y'all. I left the US with 2 other adults and the sister of 5 children. She divorced her husband. She did not divorce her husband.
Still married.
They are still married. She left her husband because her husband was sexually molesting her first daughter that belonged to another man. And he abused her and the children. So this man went to jail once before for abuse. He got out and she let him back in. They were still always married. While she's married, he's still supporting the house. She's collecting welfare, acting like he's not there. Now, she's still married to this man. This was a legal matter of child abuse and sexual abuse in their home that I had nothing to do with. All I did was advise her legally, because one thing I'm not going to do, my issue with Yiscah and a lot of other people, and be careful with this, it's not that I want to turn away anybody. When that time is to flee and you got to flee and Babylon going down, no holds barred, right? Do what you got to do. But the system is still up. They're watching everybody. And if you flee with your children and you don't have full custody and you join a group, you and the whole group could be taken down for what? Kidnapping. That was one of my instructions. You cannot join my group as a single father or a single mother if you don't have full custody and you go through a custody battle and they didn't agree. This whole, everybody's life could be destroyed for kidnapping. I want y'all to know, hear this, you people that think y'all starting communities of group with mothers that don't have full custody. If their spouses decide to take this to court and go through the embassy, you will be in prison for kidnapping. We do not break the laws of the land. All right? Only for a life or death situation does Yah allow you, right, to bend or twist. She divorced her husband, and it is so deep. That's a lie. So it was 8 of us. And so these people are the 2 people that also was upset with me, and I kicked out the group called Justice and Yiska. And they actually was writing me this morning and saying, please, Talia, I ain't got nothing to do with this. I did not convince Emily to get money from your group. I didn't convince her to do all, keep me out of it. No, Emily is mentioning you all in it. And I was like, where's your testimony? You can hate me all you want. And you know everybody hate me because they had to go because they did wrong and they full of evil. Y'all still full of evil, but give your testimony because she is dragging you in and she lying about y'all, right? And she's super mad because she got you re-involved with her business. I had nothing to do with it. And whatever y'all did, right? So,
and
go ahead.
I may say that no point during this time, April 4th, did Emily speak to you at all?
No.
About leaving, coming.
No. No, she didn't. Yiska and them didn't, right? We were still dealing with Yiska legally before we made a decision that she could join us, but there was still, right? There was still this question mark. She was like, I'm leaving anyway. Mama was supposed to help pay for the tickets for the kids, right? But what she did was she took all her money and paid for the tickets without our permission. Once she got the legal paperwork, she jumped with Justice. They both jumped with him. He carried them. He says, I'm your head. I'm your covering. And thus they came through his ministry. How about that? Through his leadership, which was dumped on me. I never gave Emily permission to come. Right? I felt sorry for this woman and I helped, and there was a but. We're going to get to that but. Right? So they dumped on me. I want y'all to understand is that people jumped. There was people that was stalking me and finding out where I was and just showing up with no money. Right? All right. So that's a lie. And 8 of us, we were headed to Sharm el Sheikh, Egypt. No, they headed straight to me. Straight to me. And then we had to go scramble to find housing at another camp for all of the new influx of people that just came that we never even calculated, right? April 6th, 2021. We arrived in Egypt and 14 hours around the globe trip.
She makes that sound like somebody made her.
I know, right? This is her scheme. Look at how this woman talks. Yeah, we stayed in a hostel hut at Camp David and Camp Sariah in the coastal town of Weber in the eastern part of Sinai Peninsula, Egypt. This was near the Red Sea. This was where the group was. See what I'm saying? They didn't go to Sharm. Well, she's saying that that's where they headed to, right? They had a flight to Sharm. I mean,
if I can also add to her testimony about Yiska, she also, when she was having a lot of issues with her between the both of them, I just found it quite interesting. The person that she was having an issue with, I actually was her roommate. I lived with her. And during, I think it was sometime right before Yom Kippur, she personally asked me, what did I think about her going back to her to confess, to say that she was sorry after she had left the group, who was actually the person she was having issues with. And we had many family meetings concerning the both of them, where she was looking for support for the I guess, how Yiska was dealing with her personally.
Okay, they was using each other, man. They was fighting, the three of them, before they even got here. And they brought the fight to the camp, right? So we're gonna get upon arrival in the camp, and the others, the family, were calling family. I felt the spirit of heaviness and isolation and oppression. That's a lie. We they were wolves, and they ravished her, and we had to protect her from them. And that's what took place, that we removed her from them and took her in with me and mama, right? When I say me and mama, we wasn't even living on the camp. We was in 2 different cities.
Can you speak to that? Because her feeling the spirit of heaviness could be true. They was the spirit of heaviness because around them was nothing but darkness. But as soon as they left, as soon as they was removed from the group, it was a sense of peace around.
It was.
And I do believe that she's referring to them. The people that I had traveled with changed for the worse. That makes you
Okay.
Hold on,
All
before-
right.
so-
Okay.
So I kind of want to address this line that she's talking about, that we were calling each other family. There were people that were forging relationships on the board before coming out. No one knew of Emily. No one had to say sister, Emily, or anything like that. And so she's painting a picture that we all were calling each other brother and sister just because now we're all gathering together. That wasn't the case. We were calling people Mr. and Mrs. If we had a relationship with somebody, we called them sister or brother, so on and so forth. So I just wanted to address that.
Yeah, I felt the spirit of heaven. Okay, so yes, the oppression came from them, but that's who she joined up with and came with, and that's who they were fighting. The people that I had traveled with changed for the word. They didn't change, they were fighting before they came. Yeah, they were fighting, and it was bad. It was. When they got there, it was bad, and they caused this whole group so much problems for like a long time. They were acting holier than thou. That was true, but wicked, and it was crazy. Yeah, that is very true. They didn't even speak. They didn't greet me or thank me or hug me or nothing when they got here. They had some conspiracy against me. And I don't know why. Right?
There were 100 people each week at the Zoom meeting. 100.
May I also actually speak to Emily's nature?
Oh, hold on. We
okay.
will. I want to finish reading, and then we're gonna get to your situation, and then you can speak. Everybody gonna speak on her nature, what they experienced. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, he reading part 2.
Okay, that's it.
Okay. So far, and I'm a proof. This is proof, right? But I got receipts. Okay. We have 15.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. We got receipts. We're gonna get receipts. Because early on I realized how scandalous these Negroes was. And Yakoba and T3, they're gonna learn a quick lesson quick, but they scandal. Okay, 15. There were 3 meetings called by Talia, leader, a week on a Wednesday. This was a judgment session or correction session, she called. But it was nothing more than people trying to adjust to living with people they did not know and trying to adjust to a new environment. Okay, anybody got anything to say before I say anything about that? Was there any set 3 meetings a week for judgment session?
No. That's a lie.
No.
We had Shabbat meetings.
Shabbat.
Well, not Shabbat meetings, excuse me. We had Shabbat, and then usually Sunday we had our family day meeting to talk about issues that were going on amongst us so that we can straighten things out. But if we couldn't straighten things out, we'd have to have more meetings.
Right.
But it wasn't Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday meetings.
No, it wasn't scheduled like that.
And it wasn't judgment sessions. Judgments has to go forward as people were fighting. Did I live there with y'all?
No, but to clarify what those were on Sunday were things pertaining to the kitchen, cleaning schedules, school schedules, and so forth.
Thank you.
And these meetings
And you was not living there. You came to establish order because there was no order. But once you came and established order like a true prophet is supposed to do,
Amen.
then we can walk in the ways of Yehoshua. You came and showed us physically how to walk in the ways of Yehoshua.
Amen. And if we ever had multiple meetings during a week, where judgment was going forth, it was because something had happened. So for example, Miss Emily conveniently left out that she almost got arrested when she was on the camp because she got into a fight, a screaming match with Yiska, her former roommate, while she was living at Camp David, and the police got involved and were called. And so Debaya had to show up.
I had to show up
to put that fire out.
Yep,
And
I had to come from another city and deal with it to put this fire out. They were going to get arrested, and they probably would have got deported, and maybe the whole group fighting. A 60-year-old woman fighting with a 30-year-old and her 5 kids over what?
Milk.
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 Milk, y'all.
Yeah, I had a word I wanted to speak on not judging one another, because Yakoba brought that up and his followers in the chat. So I just had a quick word I wanted to speak to that. So it's in 1 Corinthians chapter 6. This is 2-5.
Hallelujah.
Do you not know that the holy ones shall judge the world? If the world shall be judged by you, are ye unworthy to judge the smallest matters? Know ye not that we shall judge angels? How much more things that pertain to this life? If then ye have judgments of things pertaining to this life, set them to judge who are least esteemed of the called out assembly.
That's right.
I speak to your shame. It is so that there is not a wise man among you. No, not one that should be able to judge between his brother. And so all these people saying that we shouldn't judge one another, they obviously don't know the Bible. They don't know Yah's ways, and they're cowards.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
And if I must add, one of the reasons why we had to have, for instance, maybe 2 or 3 meetings in a week is because those who were at the camp at the time actually just couldn't judge a matter because they didn't have the word or the courage to bring an accusation or to bring judgment or correction to their brother. So Talia had to get in the middle of that and be the bad guy in a lot of situations just to bring balance, to bring shalom, and to bring the word of Yah concerning living together in those situations.
That's right. Like I said, we had poor people. We found a way through the wisdom of those that cared how to live together for $100 a month, right? And it only lasted a little bit because we had bad leadership from Oral about the business. He did bad business and they didn't like him. They only wanted to talk to me, but I wasn't the money. I didn't have the money. We have a realtor here who was involved with that with Oral and Mama, right? I could not make decisions in those business deals. Why? Can somebody tell me exactly why I couldn't make the final decisions in any of those business deals? And when I say business deals, the business was finding a place that we could all call home.
Because we lived in the Middle East, and the custom in the Middle East is for a man to do business with another man.
That's right. That's right. That was one of them. And 2, the money. I wasn't. No, I was somewhat sometimes here. Sometimes here. I wasn't always here. And 3, the money wasn't mine to make that decision.
Yes.
I didn't have that much money to put on the table that could equal the power of making that decision. I could not tell them what to do with their money that they wanted to do to help get a place, a closed place for the whole family.
And the gentleman who was managing the property, you explained that to him, but he tried to force your hand to make a decision based for other people's lives, and you kept telling him, I can't do that. I need to talk to the council. I need to talk to the family and get their opinion. But he was so hard pressed that he did not want to hear what you were saying and wanted to put all the responsibility and the authority on you.
Yeah, I didn't have that authority. It was supposed to be Oral, the 3 players that was going to do that. And it was Oral and Vivian's idea in the first place to get land in Egypt. Can somebody testify that that is the truth, or is something else need to be added to that?
When we were in the States, because I was on a personal, I guess you could say, relationship with Vivian, and that she was saying that they were going to sell their property and use that money to take and buy some land so that we can all dwell together out of the system and do the old ways. Simple life, just simple life without doing Babylon.
Yep. That wasn't Talia. That wasn't Sibaya.
I was also there at a dinner that we were having where Oral and Viv was sitting at the table, and they brought it up. Viv actually brought it up that they had a business venture or a business idea or some opportunity to get their residency, and they consulted Talia on whether or not they should do it. But it was a setup question because Talia has already said that she's moving with the group and she's not moving individually. But the way that they were bringing it to the table was like, Talia, do you want to go in partnership with us as a family, three people separately from the group? And Talia basically was saying, that's not what I'm here for.
That was the other way to try to get the money, whatever they believed that I had, and get it to go on them. I said, no. If you want to use your money to secure yourself, do that. I had no problems with that. But you are supposed to be the leader of the group. How are you going to make decisions for the group? Therefore, me and Mama I had to double down and step in it because he stepped back.
And Talia never made a decision that was going to affect the group without the group's knowledge.
That's right.
Or consent.
That's right. Anybody got a me too to that? Oh, that's right to that?
That's right. That's right. And that's actually a great example.
That's how we move.
Of people who had money, who were a part of the group, that if Talia was this cult leader or a tyrant or whatever people want to describe her as, she would have jumped on that opportunity. But she's like, do you with your money? I have to consider the whole.
That's right.
Right.
And that's what I'm still doing. And y'all gonna find out what receipts that I consider the whole. All right. So that's not true. There was no regulatory 3 times a week judgment. Right. We started having Hebrew class, right? And that was while we came together, Shabbat, and Sunday meetings for any issues or how we were moving forward.
And all of this was during not Sukkot, Shavuot. And so we were as a group, as a family, really going through Torah to learn and understand how to keep the commandments of God. And so you all have to understand, and I hope I get an amen. We were messed up. We had no idea how we were supposed to be walking in righteousness for Yahweh.
Yeah.
And so we needed the correction and the judgment, all of that. And so what happened often, but to the glory of Yahweh, that we could walk straight.
That's right. All right. So go ahead.
Came together every night to eat dinner.
That's
we
right.
had dinners provided Monday through Saturday? And Sunday was a free day, but we came together every night to sit down and eat Yehoshua in gratitude.
That's right. That's what we did. It's called community, right? We had some that had money and we had a lot that didn't. Okay. It says so. People are trying to adjust to a new environment. Absolutely. So you need counsel to walk people through a culture shock. What's wrong with y'all? Right? We living on the beach in huts. It was nice though. It was and it was raw, boy. It was real raw. And we had a communal kitchen and we made it work.
And people like Yakoba would be like, I'm out. Take the money and run.
He would have been I'm out, right? Okay, members, and so Egypt is difficult. Egypt ain't trying to let you get land like that, right? Yeah. Members of this so-called family were lying on each other and twisting the actual facts in order to gain favor with Talia. I don't know about favor with me. There were people lying on each other, and I got to the truth of the lies. Like if anybody had lied to me, they were the ones that were outed by witnesses that that's a lie. Like I don't know about favor. I don't know the favor. Who was my favor? Except who's accused of being my favorite, y'all? Malcolm. Who was accused of being my other favorite? Kenneth. That's right. And all and the very people that he's with, right? This one right here, what's her name? Priscilla, because her daughter wasn't part of this group, right? She came along after, out of nowhere. Priscilla was one of the main ones that contested against the decision to forgive Kenneth for what almost happened with him and Yamima, what he did. And she didn't understand why I released Yamima from the group, but Yamima actually left the group before I even said it. Right? She said, I'm out of here anyway, before I even said anything. And why I decided to keep Kenneth at that time, Kenneth halfway showed me emails. This was one of the issues that we saw, that he was lying a year later, about this. He showed me certain emails that he sent to her to exonerate him, that he had an equal part in seducing her, and that they were going to fornicate. Yeah, adulterate and fornicate. Only after my marriage, my message on sex, divorce, and marriage, according to the word for the kingdom's sake, did he alter his heart, so-called, about the decision. And I got the text messages to prove that. I believe, if he's not erasing stuff, I believe he erased it, but I think they're somewhere. And so they were pointing fingers at each other, right? And so I forgave him. And of all people, Priscilla, the one that he's linking up with right now, being used through their hatred from Sarah to be pushed forward, and use him because they need a man to go forward. All of these people, they want to be leaders, right? The women, so does he, but they need a man, and he's not a man. They're using him, and nevertheless, that who is what people thought was my favorite.
Well, and not to mention that Miss Emily was one of those people who was lying and twisting actual facts.
Yeah.
Particularly when it came to her relationship and time spent with Yiska and Justice.
Yes.
Saying that they were, these mean people who were stingy and withholding when they had the same claim against her. And as we move forward, when my mother and I give our testimony, we could testify and witness that Miss Emily is in fact very stingy.
Yes. Manipulative, cunning, and she constantly lying, but she has this like sweet old lady. She'll turn into the old. I told you, got 3 personalities. She'll do like David, when David had to save his life and he started slobbering. I did it. I'm gonna do it. This is what she would walk around. Wait, no, nobody else. Anybody want to show their face so they know that I'm okay? You what would she do? What would she do? And then y'all can testify if this is what she would do. And then when that didn't work, this is what she would start. I don't know what I did. Yep. Am I lying, y'all?
No.
They laughing. It's funny now, but it was like, woman, what is wrong with you?
Stop it now.
Right? Yep. And then if that didn't work, then she started crying. No, I swear, I want to do better. No, I'm so sorry. Please, no, yes, no. Am I lying, y'all? Am I lying?
No.
Now, so yeah, this is the good woman, right? Yes, and I knew what was wrong with her. Y'all, hear me out. See, Baya's a prophet. You got to understand that when we sin, there's consequences, and those consequences are usually demonic takeover. You can do something physically to yourself, mentally or spiritually in your works, and demonically, that's the result. She was crazy and emotionally unstable for many years because of this. She didn't have a womb. She didn't have any estrogen to balance anything. Now, I didn't learn about all of that until as time is going on. I knew something was wrong, and I knew it was demonic. She kept saying it was the Holy Spirit, y'all. She kept saying that the Holy Spirit was moving her up and down, and right? And I'm looking at this like, woman, you are blaspheming. Right. Now, the reason why she is demonically possessed, y'all talking about pray for her. Yeah, I pray for her, but you got to, confession goes with prayer. So even though she sort of told her story of being a handmaiden's concubine slut whore on a pastor's wife for 20 years while she smiled in front of this woman, Yah struck her. 1, she killed and murdered 2 babies. And 2, she was sleeping and fornicating, committing adultery with a pastor, to the first lady that she went to the pastor's church with. And he was a sugar daddy. And in her speech, she was not repented. She was not repented of it. So Yah is smiting her mind as he smit her wound. Now, she will never have a wound again, but Yah can give her estrogen. He can stabilize her mind with the Holy Spirit by what? Confessing and forsaking in your consciousness the sin that caused you to become emotionally and spiritually unstable in the first place. But she didn't want to relinquish that. So if I can't get rid of the devil out of the temple of her body by the consciousness of her mind, by righteous judgment, then I have to get rid of the body, the garbage can that's hosting the demon that's causing all this trouble for us. All right. All right. So yes, she was one of those people that was lying. I don't know about getting my favor. It reminded me of a cult. So why was she mad? I don't understand this, y'all. Why was she mad? And I'm gonna show you that her whole crying was like, I want to know where I stand with the group. I understand what I did. I know I shouldn't have come to Shabbat what I did to Aviyah, but where's my stand? But I'm in a cult. Why are you asking me if I'm in a cult, then you should be good riddance.
Yeah, be glad.
Good riddance. But something is wrong, y'all. Something is really wrong when people saying I'm in a cult, I was wicked, I taught them lies, I caused confusion, I didn't feed them, I did all manner of evil to them, and then I asked them to leave. You gotta go. Why would they be so upset? Something is wrong, y'all. It don't add up. How about they didn't want to go? They didn't want to leave. All right. So from Friday evening to sundown to Shabbat meeting meeting dinner memorial started, and the lesson on Saturday at 1 p.m. to continue the Shabbat teachings. Okay. I forgot to mention that each person was required to give 10% of their finances upon leaving the U.S. to her ministry. Sounds familiar? Yeah, sounds like the Bible. Say what?
It sounds like a lie.
Well, no, I did ask at this point. I did ask for 10%. I'm not, but y'all just didn't do it. Half of y'all didn't do it.
So this is what happens when people try to accuse being misled. It was discussed already about tithes and offerings. It was a hands down. We went through the scripture. Anybody who wanted to debate, anybody that wanted to refute,
and if they disagree,
that tithes and offerings was still implemented. Anybody who had any issues with it, we had a whole Shabbat
before people came out.
Yeah,
and we came to an agreement as a whole. This is the word.
Yes.
And I allowed everyone to debate me on it if they felt it wasn't the word. And we did have, I believe it was 3 families.
Yeah.
3 families that disagreed with me. They didn't want to fight with me. They just said, I believe in offerings, but I don't believe that we should force tithes. And then there was another family that said it was in that they couldn't. I was like, all you had to do was tell me that. You know, I wouldn't, because what happens if you can't? If you can't survive? By the time you give me 10% of $10, and that's what, $1, and you can't eat for the week, what did I tell people?
Exactly.
I said, don't do it. Just let me know your circumstances, because your tithing, I'm going to give you back the money anyway. Right? If you can't pay your rent, obviously you're going to come to me and be like, Talia, I'm short. I gave my tithe, but I can't pay the rent, and I wind up giving it back to you and more. Now, there is a principle of just giving it all and getting right out of principle. I didn't ask you to give me the 10%. I said, just let me know your circumstance and be honest, transparent. That's what I said to people. This is my whole group on the board, my whole family, right? My whole family is here. There is 2 other groups. Like I said, we're not in one place. We're not in one place. You don't need to know where we at. We everywhere.
So I wanted to add, this was to make sure that we were all held accountable with one another. Because if you have someone like Miss Emily who has $14,000 one month, and then a few months later, a few months later, it's all gone. then we got a problem here. Somebody is obviously calculating somebody else's pockets.
Yeah, and that's what was
It's
going
being
on.
supported by the 10% tithes for an extended amount of months after the fact.
Say that again. I didn't hear that.
I said, who was also being supported by the 10% tithes for an extended amount of months after that.
Yes, that's what I said in the video. Was somebody trying to expose me, my evil, right? Like, yeah, that's what it is.
And as we just discussed and shared with you guys that, you know, this 10%, Talia, we went over it in the word, we reasoned it together for consciousness sake, for it to be convicted by the word, by Yah's commandment, for us to freely give it. Not, she wasn't saying, give me the money today. You heard it, now you got to pay. She never even checked to see if anybody did.
I wasn't the accountant. Who was?
I'm the accountant.
Right, the one that paid for everything. The 70-year-old imam, who was one of the leaders with. She was the accountant. She was the one that discovered stuff, and we still don't know. Like,
no, this is an assembly.
That's not true. I didn't force it.
Yeah, this is an assembly who was following the word and law of Yahweh because he said it, not because Talia said.
Yeah, that's right. So people started to be excommunicated from the group who started going against the grain. What's the grain? That's the bread, the word, right? That's right. And I told everybody before they got in what the grain was, what we eating. Is that correct?
No, yes, it's.
That's why I told everybody to go watch my videos before you think you want to join the group. So you know what I teach and what I preach and what I do. What I'm standing on it. And it's the word. Yeah, go against the grain. That's Torah. That's Torah.
No, it's clear. And as people began to continue to jump, it became more and more clear because
Man.
we're learning as we go.
Yes, we are.
That we needed to make this a little more defined so that people were clear on what they were getting themselves into.
Yes.
Yes.
And if I may add, this grain, which we've already established, is Torah. Torah is the grain. And if you want to walk into the house of Torah, you got to keep it.
That's right.
You can't have any other intentions or else Yah's going to find you out. And so we know what we know about Yah's word is that if you continue to do evil, what does he do? Cut you off.
That's right. Cut the grain.
He kicks you out. He purges the evil from the land. And that's exactly what's happening with Emily.
All right. The man who traveled with me has special issues. What special issues? Left the group.
What?
Did he leave that man?
Really?
He hated the group.
He had special issues?
Yeah.
Really?
He has special issues. We already talked about that. And the reason why she's not saying these things now because she had another fallout with them while she was in Turkey. I'll show you there was another fallout where she called upon them and she doesn't want to, like, they're pissed and she's pissed. She's taking out on me what they did. I have nothing to do with it. Left the group camp in May 2021. The sister who
The special issue was he was an abomination.
Say what?
The special issue was he was a walking abomination.
That's right. And y'all know the story about that. Go look at my celibacy or eunuchs, celibacy and eunuchs. The sister who also traveled with me was having major problems. And her oldest daughter was caught stealing money and clothes from the neighbor in the camp. Yeah, I go back, I tell that story and people call me what? They came against me with lies with that too, right? But you see her lying witness now being a witness to the other liars, right? To support her case. And once again, she didn't tell about the fact that they got in almost a fight and a screaming match like madmen. That the police showed up and I had to truck my butt all the way down there and figure out what happened. And the camp boss, not the camp boss, the manager of the owner or the manager of the place came and calmed the police down and tried to handle it. So the whole group, because that was his money. If they would have deported all of us, and this almost could have got us all deported too, right? The children were wicked. They were out of control. So it wasn't that I didn't help them or anything like that. They were wicked and out of control and rebellious. And the mother was careless. She was a welfare mother who used the system and thought she was going to do the same. She didn't get up feed her kids, take care of them. The kids was taking care of her while she slept all day or fasted all day. I don't know what they was doing, right? Her oldest daughter was questioning.
I'm a witness to that. I lived in the house with her. I was up with her kids early in the morning, feeding her breakfast.
Yeah.
And all she would do was use them as a handmaid to bring her stuff while she slept all day.
Yes, that's right. And her other children was having problems adjusting as well. Weekly judgments up until July 2021. It's not, the weekly judgments is that this is what she's saying. There was something, what judgments? What the judgment that happened was I didn't kick her out the group.
That's right.
The girl got her butt spanked. They were questioned because at this point, Yiska was lying for her daughter about the stealing, even though we found the clothes. They still lied about the money. This was the clothes that they stole was the what do you call it, cops? The chief of police, y'all. The chief of tourist police that they stole from. So yes, these weekly judgments that I had to truck my behind an hour from wherever I was to come down there. I had to pay double the way Torah tells us to and return the girl's goods. That's the judgment. That's the judgment that she's talking about. And then sit down and talk about the situation with her daughter stealing and her children.
And again, we're a family, we're a community. And so none of that goes swept under the rug.
Yeah.
We met so we could discuss it so everybody could be clear that this child is a thief. So that we could all have eyes on her to make sure that it didn't happen again and judge it righteously.
Hallelujah.
That's right. All right, 20. Yeah. Weekly judgments up until, and then they were excommunicated from the group altogether. Okay. I already told that story. I'm not telling it again, right? Justice wanted to leave. He planned to leave, and we agreed that he needed to leave. Yiska didn't want to leave, so she was like, I want to stay. Well, then y'all got to separate. That's not that thing is not the children's father. We have men in the group. Let these men spend time with your sons and rear them up. What did she do? I told the story. When we moved out of the camp, they was put up in the bigger house. They destroyed it. The landlord said, all these kids gotta get out the house, right? I gave them the mansion house, and so the landlord was like, no, the kids gotta go. So they had to come out the house. Mama found, and Mama paid for Yiska's rent, a 3-bedroom and all of that. We supplied everything they need. And they had school, mind you. This is also why we come. They had school. We had to continue school with the kids. We got official teachers, y'all. Right? And we still got school. Right? And we're paying for that through the tithes and through the offerings. Right? And she disappeared for a whole week. When we got back, we looking for the kids. Like, where the kids? Where they at? We had just bought them new clothes, the new apartment. They weren't even in there, and disappeared for a week. And she didn't think we was gonna come check up on to see what was going on, talking about she was sick or something like that. Turned out that she was with Justice. I was like, well, if that's where you want to go, goodbye. Then I gave Justice $2,000 of my money. He said he thinks it's his money, it's my money. $2,000 to make sure that he could initially take care of him. And then it's on you. That's what happened. People started to run out of money. Who started running out of money?
Her.
She started running out of money because she was spending it on clothes and cake and sugar. Yes.
And
butter.
Then she came back and said that she lost 3,000 or some scandal online where she was embezzling money, y'all.
Yes.
Anybody could explain that scam?
So what she did was she said that she got a job, and the people that spoke to her told her to send them money. Oh, the people that spoke to her told her to send them money. She said that she sent money to them. They sent her a check, and she had to send the check into her bank account, and she put that money into her bank account. It was a scam. And then she came to us and said, myself and another sister, and
So we
said,
had paid.
that
What
we
you
had
say,
to pay.
y'all?
She
Sorry.
told me I had to pay for it. She said, you gotta help me pay my bank back because that money was a scam. And I said, well, why didn't you speak to anyone about it? But she basically was taking me around the block, and I kept saying to her, Miss Emily, this does not sound right. I don't understand what the issue is. I don't understand how they got into your bank account. I don't understand. No, they just stole my money.
Yeah, she wouldn't tell us the truth. We got to the meat of it. She was embezzling money. She 60-year-old woman, she know better. They were sending her checks through her account, and she was reissuing these money out to other people. She was embezzling money, and they were giving her.
And she came out with 15 bags.
Say what?
She came out with 15 bags of covetousness.
Yeah, yeah, that's the story. She came out with 10 bags. That's what Justice was upset with her with. 15 bags. That's right. I thought that was right. What you said?
17 bags of covetousness.
Okay, that's right. She has 17 bags. One woman. Okay, I'm gonna show you the video where we talk about the bags, right? But we were Justice was mad because who was gonna carry 17 bags? I said, Justice, you brought her out. That you said you her covering. I did not tell you to bring this woman here. You're the one leading them. You gonna carry it. So you tell her to get rid of some of that stuff.
She was just irresponsible.
Yeah. And her other children were having, okay. People started to run out of money. That was her. Kenneth, by this time, was he already ran out of money?
Yeah.
But he bragged that he said that he was working for Google online, and that he was about to make what?
Thousands of dollars a month.
Thousands, 10 figures or something like that. Am I saying that right? I don't know. I see. I don't. 6 figures.
He's a habitual liar.
He is a habitual liar. And then all of a sudden he was broke. And we was like, where that money go to? So we don't even know if he was lying that he even had the money, but all that money we raised for him disappeared. $11,000 was gone, just him. Yeah, he was sending it back to his prostitute wife that was pregnant with another man's baby. We had to pay for our monthly housing expenses. Yeah. Right? Which was how much? How much was her monthly expenses? $110 a month? Emily. $110, which was cheaper than in the US, right? The problem was working online. That was the problem with some of y'all getting jobs. Can y'all that work online, can y'all speak to that a little bit?
Yes. Yes. Working online was difficult, but it was not impossible once you got the right internet hookup. And I definitely, on multiple occasions, Miss Emily contacted me. My internet's not working. How do I fix it? I looked at her laptop. I gave her router recommendations. I checked out her setup and made sure that she was good to go. And she told me that she was starting and in her training. So it was not hard once you were able to figure it out. And she did figure it out.
She did figure it out.
I just wanted to add that you had bought her a router actually.
Yeah.
So that she was able to work.
That's right.
Online.
And then Dana also gave her a router, and we just going from routers to routers. And she didn't want to share the router with her roommate, so her roommate could work. She'll tell you about that too. All right. The internet was not so great. Yeah, we had issues with this, but we all got through it and we supported each other. This meant that the ministry had to pay for the housing expenses. Okay, yeah, the ministry. Well, who's the ministry? The ministry had to pay for the housing expense. That would be who? Why she acting like the word ministry is some boogeyman in the sky?
Right.
This is in her own statement, y'all. That meant that the ministry had to pay for the housing. That means that Sibaya was using the 10% tithes to pay housing expenses. Anybody want to be was she the only one in that situation? No. Anybody else want to? When we moved out, we had gotten bigger housing and more expensive housing now. We had more money to dish out. A lot of y'all was single, had a job, was making a few. What happened? What happened? Right? This is true. The ministry paid for it. Wait a minute. This don't make no sense. Wait. And Talia detested this? That don't
One
make
second.
no damn sense, y'all. I'm the one who paid for it. How did the ministry pay for it? Go ahead.
I just want to say I can witness to that. Whenever we did move to a bigger place, it became very expensive to live there, especially for the people who are working online. If you don't have a college degree, a bachelor's degree, it's hard to find jobs that will help you support yourself like that. And you just do the best you can to help out and pitch in. And you generously helped those who are unable to help themselves, who were financially unstable. And you even offered some of us jobs that will help not only help us support ourselves better, but the community around us. And that's how some of us became teachers. And it's a blessing to this day.
Amen.
Hallelujah, present.
Like this is the ministry. I'm the ministry, y'all.
So I think this statement, Talia detested it, is more of a projection, because when Emily needed help, what was required of her was, where's your money? Why don't you have any money? Questions. She was questioned, and she detested having to ask questions or being asked questions because she squandered her money.
Accountability.
That's right.
Accountability. All
What
right.
she
I
was
didn't
doing.
detest anything. I don't like users and liars that you go shopping every day and buying clothes at the tailor, and then you can't pay your rent. And when you brought her in, mama, she could not pay. She said, I could not. She came out supposedly with 7,000 still. And all of this stuff was blown in 3 months' time. When we took her, she was only 1 month at the camp. Then you brought her into your house. What did y'all charge her?
$176.
$176. What did the house? What was the rent for the house?
The rent, what? Dollars, I can't say. Hold on.
Was it three?
It was 12,000 pounds.
It was $532.
$532. Okay, they took her in and they fed her. She didn't buy no groceries or anything like that.
All she did was pay rent. She had her own bathroom. She had her own.
She did buy supplies to make cakes.
Cake, yeah, she made cake
But that was for
to 3 in the morning while she talked to herself.
Yes.
All right, so I didn't detest anything.
But at this time that she's talking about in point 20, that's at David, where she's only paying $100 a month for her housing expenses.
Okay, she made comments like, this is not a welfare system.
Right, because people like Emily were using it and abusing it like a welfare system.
That's right.
And so, yeah, that's what happens. Judgment goes forward. Discernment is had. You call a duck, and you call it what it is, and it's usury.
Yeah, that's what that. So mind you, she came into this ministry double dipping and lying and extracted almost 3,000 out of a young man who cared for the elderly, and the same money, and we was double paying while she was lying. And she never paid him back.
While she had 14,000.
Yeah, while she had 14,000. Never paid him back. Never paid him back. The ministry had millions of dollars from people giving, even from those still in the state. Millions of dollars.
Lies.
She can't make a
lies. Can I bring a word real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Millions of dollars. I ain't got $1 million, y'all.
Hallelujah.
I ain't got $500,000.
We have
bring a
been
word to
wise stewards of what y'all have blessed us with. And to Emily, maybe it did look like $1 million, but $1 million has not gone through this ministry.
Nope, not at all.
Let's bring a word to that.
That's right.
Matthew 5. Matthew 5 and 10. Blessed are those who have been persecuted for righteousness' sake.
That's right.
For theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when people reproach you, persecute you, and say all kinds of evil against you falsely for my name's sake.
For my name's
Rejoice.
sake. Amen. Hallelujah.
Rejoice and be exceedingly glad, for great is your reward in heaven.
Thank you, Father.
For that is how they persecuted the prophets who were before you.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Y'all gonna get it. Y'all gonna get it. We already know that y'all said that y'all gonna do the last 2 witnesses like that. So what happened that you didn't learn your lesson with the final 2? You've been practicing doing the same thing with the lesser prophets that's coming before them, and y'all are going to die. Thus says Yah, you're gonna perish. She made comments like, this is not a welfare system. The ministry had millions of dollars. This is a lie. I don't have 1 million. I don't have a $500,000. And I don't have a lot of $1 million. I don't have a $250,000. I don't have a $250,000. All right. That's a complete lie from people giving, even from those still in the States. That's why we maintain as a family. That's why, May 2021, I was moved from the camp to Dahab with one of the older women leaders in the group and her daughter, because my traveling companion sister waged a fight against me up in the camp. No, they fought together over milk.
Yes.
Milk. I'm gonna tell you again. That's what I'm telling you. This is crazy. I had to come up there. The police came up there. They was about to fight each other physically.
No hands, y'all.
If the neighbors didn't come in the camp and call the police to stop this, they was cursing each other out, screaming like they were about to fight over milk. Guess whose milk it was? Anybody was it any of theirs milk? Shannon, you want to speak?
Community milk?
It was community milk that your sister Shannon had left over. Yes. All right. Then what I'm dealing with, y'all, right? Talia makes the decision to move the entire group to Dahab because of the bad things happening on the camp and faulty business deal with the owner. I didn't have a faulty business deal. Oral did. Oral did. And the man was corrupt. And at this time, right, a lot of bad things were going on and people didn't know how to act. And I brought the group together to make that decision. Yes, it was time.
Yes, that's right.
To leave the situation. It was, yeah, we needed to.
And I just want to add, because, it obviously she's setting up the premise that Talia is a cult leader. And this is what Yakoba was trying to push. Talia, like we've established this, Talia does not make decisions without discussing it with us, weighing the pros and the cons, getting everyone's feedback, their wisdom, and accounting for the whole situation. So ultimately, who's making the decision?
We are as one.
That's right. That's right. That's how it went down. That's how we made a lot of our decisions. Talia's roommate from Israel becomes my apartment roommate. Okay. I did not know I was being set up. All right. Now, Talia's roommate can talk. Tell what the situation was. Hold on. Let me read it first, and then you can say set up. All right. I was set up by my roommate for false accusations, lies. She twisted narratives about our living situations. I'm gonna show you that she's apologizing and admitting to what she's saying was a setup. All right. Hold on. All right. I felt like I was in high school again. Where there is a bully who does not like you. She's a bully, y'all. Next thing I know, I was brought before Talia and the group for judgment. No, she wasn't. I'm gonna show you that she asked for the was she brought? No, Avia wanted the conversation.
Because she needed a witness.
Yeah, Avia needed right. They have been going through this back and forth. Avia can speak. I will blot out your name. She can speak and tell what took place. And then finally, this sister said, I can't deal with her no more. I need a witness, right? And so that's where I came in. I witnessed firsthand how Talia would twist the narrative and make the person look like they were guilty rather than her and her accusers, all based on false information. I'm going to show you the judgment, y'all. I'm going to let y'all in on that. The group members went from 100 to 30.
Lie. Never was 100.
Lies.
Lies.
She was hallucinating.
the woman was hallucinating. And by the time we moved them in together, it was next door to mama. Who was paying that rent?
She was,
I
my
was.
mother was.
Come, mama, the next door apartment that's supposed to be a setup. These two moved in together. Why?
Because neither one of them had any money.
They didn't have no money and no work.
And I paid their rent.
Zero money. You paid their rent.
Yeah.
And the community supplied food.
Yeah, and the agreement or the arrangement was one of the sisters who was her roommate was going to work off her debt because she didn't have a job and was having difficulty getting one, versus Miss Emily, who had already applied for her retirement. It was pending, so it was a matter of time before she was supposed to collect it. And so my mom was paying her rent until the time came that she was able to pay that money back.
And this is also Miss Emily saying, I'm an elder. I should.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah.
So basically she was, so one of the things that was and the roommate could, and y'all could attest that they live with her, is that she would stay up to 3 in the morning. Y'all said like 3 in the morning cooking. I'm sorry, go ahead. Y'all tell it.
So when my mother and I lived with Miss Emily, since we're pulling out dates, from June 2021 until August 2021, she would stay up until she would wake up at like noon, 1 o'clock. She never offered to make a meal, to fix breakfast.
This woman had made one
dinner.
breakfast the whole time she was there.
Contributed to
One
the
time.
household in terms of food or essentials, cleaning products, things that you contribute as a roommate. But aside from that, she also would stay up until sometimes 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning baking cakes that she called for the community on Shabbat, because she likes to tell us often that she was a baker and she made the best cakes. And so she would make them for Shabbat and then bring them, like leave the Shabbat table after we would have dinner and read through the word. She would leave and go get the cake and bring it in as if it was like parading this beautiful, simple, basic cake to us that we're grateful to have. There's no shade to her. But it was as a roommate, when my mother, again, as you know, is 70 years old, to be up blending things and chopping things and talking to herself and listening to Talia's videos and singing songs, because she was also a member of a choir at her former church. And she liked to tell people that as well, that she was just making noise throughout the night, constantly.
All right. And very inconsiderate, very inconsiderate. Not only that, there was something that she did, I think to 2 or 3 of y'all, that was a big deal. But Avia, you live with her. So mama was paying both of their rent. And there was a deal for one to pay it back and one to work it off, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead. And the community would supply food or anything, or whatever needed to be covered till they get on their feet. Okay, go ahead.
Yes, I was also one of her roommates, and I did want to go back to her comment about being set up. I can see maybe why. This is just my own thought. She would think that because she oftentimes, after speaking with Tibia, that she would go back on the phone, call me, and have controversial conversations with me in rebellion about her having the Holy Spirit. Okay, I'll get back to that later. But I did want to also testify to the cake baking, that often, yes, she would stay up late at night, baking cakes, talking to herself. I would come out the room and ask her, are you talk, who are you having a conversation with? And she just, but it would be like a rambling on and on and on and on and on. Any case, yes, Miss Emily and I both were individuals that were on assistance, receiving assistance, I should say, from the family. And because we both were in the same situation. And so I also was in the house with her oftentimes, that she would go to Mama Rita about receiving assistance for rent. So she did, yes, receive assistance for rent, because I know because of the conversations, and like I said, we both were living together in the same circumstance. We also had some issues with her with the internet that was expressed before too, that a router was given to her from another sister. I found her very selfish with the use of the router. She didn't want to share it. She would put it in her room so that we both couldn't have access to it. or that I didn't have access to it personally. We both were actually looking for work.
Kenneth had sent information to her about finding work online that it was supposed to be shared with both of y'all, and she hid it from you, right?
She hid the router. Yes, initially I didn't know it was something that was shared for both of us. I thought it was her router.
No, not the router. Kenneth was giving her information about getting a job online that she was supposed to share with you. So this is under Yakoba's joint, right? And so this is all a scheme to find out who was going to be the one to host. It was all a plan. Yakoba don't know that he being used, right? For this slaughter campaign on my character with all of these false witnesses. And so by the time, once I finish this one, you're gonna know what's gonna happen with the next, right? And we already dealt with that. What I put up there is already happened, right? So Sarah, here's the link to another platform where I gave my testimony. It was attacked by this occult, right? So Sarah removed my comments because they really don't want me to talk. Jezebel and her trolls are really deceiving. And so she may come to, I don't know if she really wants to talk out loud, because the overwhelming stuff that needs to be said about her and her mom, I don't know if her mom wants that kind of heat, but she's been on the campaign. And so Sarah, who supposedly had 4 babies by one baby's daddy, by 5 babies there, I don't know. Right, here we go. I was unfortunately involved with the cult and noticed a lot, but I wasn't until I was kicked out that the Holy Spirit opened my eyes to see the wickedness of Talia Lewis and Malka Norwood. I had to be there so one day I can give my testimony against them. Okay, so all of this is a scheme, and it's going to be one after another. Brother Yakoba, how can I get in touch with you? There's so much of this wickedness that needs to be exposed. I was in the cult. Please help me to help my people to stay away from the devil. No, he's the one that wants to take over my ministry. He was my so-called right-hand man. He was not my right-hand man. He was someone that I cared a lot about, though, right? Because he was very helpful in the very beginning. All right. So he's planning to contact me. We can schedule a private stream guard, but we can see that TEO is stupid. He doesn't know how to, how do I say, judge anything or question people's rhetoric. Thank you, brother. I will email you. So we know that this is coming, right? Kenneth, Sarah, perhaps her mama will get up there too. And I think the 3 of them are in cahoots, right, for now. We'll see who else they have attempted to reach out to everybody. Everyone who got Oral and Vivine may join this. I don't know. Vivine, Oral may tell us stay out of it. I'm not sure. But I'm gonna tell you where all this is going to end up. What's really sad about it, even though Yah has commanded us to rejoice, is that they're all going they're going to hell for this, y'all, because it's complete lies. And I'm going to continue to prove that they're lies, right? I'm going to tell you to prove that. So, all right. So she's talking about where
right-hand man left his family.
Left his family, had also ran out of money at the end of last year. All right. So now this is where the brothers come in. Y'all tell us about left his family. Oh, wait. His problem was he fell in love with another sister. That was the Yamima thing, right? He was married in this ministry after divorcing his wife. Did he divorce his wife?
No, not true.
Oh,
all right. This is what
still married.
This one, and he was still trying to work it out with his wife for her to come with his children and somebody else's children.
And so for Kenneth running out of money, I can't account for his money. We lived in a certain situation for about 3 months, and then the brothers agreed to move into another place to help with the finances and spread it up and make it easier for all 3 of us. But come to find out, it was me and the other brother who took most of the hit. And you know, the other brother he didn't have a monthly income, so this is taking a lot from his total. So Kenneth was using us and not looking for a job, being lazy and unaccountable for being 44-year-old pastor, bishop, whatever he wanted to call himself. And so it was very disappointing living with him because he wouldn't help, he wouldn't cook, and we had to ask him to cook, and he was a chef out of all things. So
supposedly, that's what he said, but he's a habitual liar, so I don't know if that's even true. Because I don't recall one thing that he cooked that was so chefly like. He kept taking my recipes. He kept stealing my recipes. Well, go ahead.
Let me back on what the brother said, because I was also the other brother who was his roommate. The only reason this brother decided to join us in coming together underneath one roof was because he knew he was low on funds, and he knew he was going to take the bulk of whatever needed to be taken care of. And as the brothers just testified to, obviously we here for righteousness' sake, and we here and governed and led by the laws of Yah. And so we know when a brother wax poor that is amongst you, Yah has things set in place so that those of us that are his brothers to be able to help him out. He wasn't even willing to do that. As the brother said, he claimed to be a chef, but we had to ask him to cook. And so yeah, we can go on and on about this, brother. It's never ended.
No, we're gonna get to Kenneth, right? But we can just speak to it real quick. Did he divorce his wife?
No.
No.
Was he still in? Anybody know that he was still in communication with his wife all up until the time that he told me she got pregnant with another man and had chlamydia?
Yeah, he was still in communication with her, and in fact, he was also giving her money.
That's right. That's where all his money was going to, while she was pregnant with another man. So when I tell you about the fact why I kicked him out, that when he didn't fall in love with Yamima, we're gonna get to that next. It was all vengeance for his wife, and that he planned on getting vengeance through fornication and adultery on his wife. Okay. And so all of this accumulated in finding out Kenneth schemes and lies. There was a lot of suspicion that he was still watching pornography. But the brothers could not red-handedly bust him, they thought, so I had to leave it alone. I never brought it to him. I said, just keep an eye and talk to him. And as brothers, y'all need to lift each other up about that situation.
And he was another one who would stay up really late and sleep in. He would get up sometime, but since me and the other brother would be out working, he'd be in the house doing whatever he's doing. And since we're living a life of trying to keep the Torah and walking out, we're not thinking he's up there masturbating or watching pornography, but.
And to fill in why he was up late, one of the reasons why he was up late, because he actually told me and my sister here that he counsels people from the States. He's basically on another time schedule, and because he's ambitious and because he still thinks that he's a pastor or some type of bishop or something, he's counseling people from the States on how to come out, and other things, but he doesn't have the word. He's not called to do this ministry.
He's using my prophecies to prophesy. Ask the girl with 5 children when she sat down and he opened up the scriptures, what lesson did he use? So all of this is an undercover movement to move me out the way and to lead people. This is what's coming next. After they think that they have accumulated enough hate speech against me that people will not look to me, which doesn't really matter, right? Because you really, like I said, y'all don't even understand that I didn't put this group together, nor that I want it, and y'all's will be done. You really don't. That's not going to stop me from speaking the word. They tried, right? And y'all not going to hear it until the very end of the matter, when everything I warned y'all about is going to happen. Now they think they got the answers because they're in the land. They're in the land, so nothing can happen to them. They don't understand what Yah is about to do in these lands. So he's over here prophesizing and counseling people back in the church, right? To see if he can start his own ministry underneath me. And he's not a pastor, y'all, right? He ain't pastored nobody. All he did, according to what he told me, is that he used his pastoral degree to manipulate women to get them to do whatever he wanted them to do. That's what he said. Am I telling the lie, y'all? Is that what he said?
That's right.
And there's a lot more, but this is not about Kenneth. We're gonna get to Kenneth. We're not gonna say everything about Kenneth. We're gonna see the lies that he spewed because we got receipts. Okay. All right. So this is a lie. Talia felt betrayed and could not forgive him for his act. How did I? If
Also, Emily was not around for any of that.
no, she wasn't even she wasn't
She
here.
was long gone, in fact.
Yeah. But no, she's talking about Yamima. That was in the beginning. If he was still with my group, then how did I not forgive him?
Right.
Or is it that something came up about what happened with Yamima? Anyway, we'll talk about that. All right. Okay. So he was undermining authority. He was undermining respect from young men to their mothers. He was trying to get in my wallet. He tried to move Rosalind, who was my right-hand woman. She's the one that take care of the website and all, right? And the finances, and mama take care of the account. Like I said, this is not one man show. And he offered to knock her out the way when he saw I was in a welding store. I'm gonna show you the equipment right here with the videos that I'm teaching my brothers. I was teaching them how to weld.
All right, there you go.
Look at Jerry. He over here welding. Stay in the puddle. Stay in the puddle. All right. Stay in the puddle. There you go. Stay in the puddle. Now, since we had to get our ship stuff. I'm not there. It's gonna take a minute before we get back into our lessons. Correct, brothers?
Yes.
I was teaching them how to weld. I got the video right here. So all of the equipment below. Who's the equipment with? Is it with Talia?
No, it's with the brothers.
It's with the brothers. And one of y'all has some welding experience. I said, if y'all want to practice on your own, go ahead and do what you got to do, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And then we bought a lot of tools for y'all to learn how to work with wood and stuff like that, and to do some simple, soft building, right?
Yeah, all the tools that you have purchased for the family are for the use for everybody to help us build flutes, tables, and the sukkahs for sukkot.
For everything we do. Now, I'm a journeyman in the trade, y'all. I'm a journeyman in the construction trade. So, you know, obviously I want to impart that skill onto my brothers, but you know, ministry is first, right? It's a lot on me. It's a lot, especially when I got to deal with stuff like this, right? But we're gonna get it done. So I'll show you that. And when he was there in the store, and when he saw the freeness of me buying things for the brothers, and that she also, I would give her my card. Go ahead, Roz. The freeness that you had with the card for the community money to do what?
Yeah, so just the specific incident that she's speaking about, I was out buying clothes for the children who are part of our community, so that they could have some new clothes, some fresh clothes. And he came with me that day. Kenneth is a trip, y'all. Instead of actually, he was supposed to administer to a brother because we were on a I'll call it a mission trip, but we were out ministering to some new people who had just come out because we wanted to give them some counseling. And so he and I were whizzing by on that trip, and there was one brother there who wasn't married, and we had gone over some of the doctrines, for lack of a better term, that we're keeping as we keep Torah and as we understand and learn it, and how we're walking as an assembly. And the brother seemed like he maybe didn't take all the information so well. And so Talia asked Kenneth, could he speak with him to decide, just take the day, spend with him, to just talk to him about it, you know, give him some encouragement as a brother, even reach back out to some of our brothers who weren't with us so that they can maybe have some man time to discuss what the word of Yah says on the topic. And he didn't want to do that. Instead, he chose to go shopping with me and another sister to buy clothes for the kids, and didn't assist me in that at all. He actually sat outside with the other young lady, and they just talked about politics and Black Power
and video games
and video games the
video
entire
games.
time that I was shopping.
Yes, and so when
he got a free keyboard out of that.
he got a free keyboard out of that, and when he saw the freeness that Roz had as the one that's I don't know what to call her title, but she's a minister. She's ministering the situation. When he saw the freeness that she had with my credit card,
Not
he-
credit card, but
my debit card, my
Your
card,
money.
my money, right? When she walked out the store, he came to me, he said, yo, Talia, I want to let you know, I got your back. Anybody touch you, I got your back. Like and I looked at him like, and he said, and on top of that, you know, I'm not saying fight. We can step her up to another thing, but I'll be your new assistant if you want me to be. I'll step in, I'll take her place. And I knew exactly what he was doing. Right? Yeah. Yeah. No, he wasn't my right-hand man, and he wasn't my best friend, and we wasn't close like that anymore after all he did with Yamima thing. Right? But we'll get back to him. Okay, we had talked about I was excommunicated from the group for the following reasons. Emily, I never liked you. Emily, I never liked you from the first day I met you. I got the video call. I would tell you that's not what I said to her. That's a lie. I said the first day I met you, I believed that you was crazy.
Yep.
You didn't meet, I never said she didn't meet my standards, but she didn't meet the standard of somebody who really wanted this walk. And I'm gonna play it for you. What she did when I first met her, right? And you did not meet them, and you don't meet them now. That's a quote. That's not a quote. I'll give you the quote. In actual recording. I am removing you from this board. I was called all kinds of crazy names. No, she was just called that she was crazy and demonic.
And nasty.
And nasty.
And vengeful.
Yes, nasty and vengeful. I got the video, and I did say it to her.
Can I add that by the time Emily was removed from the group, she was actually brought forth in front of the group, and all of her wickedness, all of her selfishness, all of her covetousness, her nastiness, all of her behavior was brought before us to hear how she's been treating the brethren. It was absolutely disgusting to hear some of these things. And so it was decided as a group, according to Torah, that this is not a person that is about this walk. This person obviously does not exhibit any type of righteousness, or it clearly is not trying to, because she wasn't trying to, how would I say, what's the word? She wasn't trying to reconcile with her roommate. The way that she was acting when her roommate brought the situation about their whole living situation to the sistren, Emily had her legs crossed and was looking like she was getting ready to bust her across the face. And so to see this type of behavior, to look at this, it was violence. And something like that was going to explode. And we had to, we all agreed that this is not somebody that needs to be in the group.
So initially what I did was remove her from coming to Shabbat, because we cannot come to Shabbat if you don't reconcile with your sister. And then we spoke to her and said, she was like, I'm fine. And so she began to, and then she came back to talk to me again about her status. I'm gonna show you that.
And in between there, Miss Emily was connecting herself, or trying to connect herself with the newer members of our group, our community.
Yes.
And so while the older of us knew and were very clear about her behavior and her manipulation and her usury, the newer members were completely unaware of that behavior at the time, because we hadn't discussed it as a group yet. And so she was like having people open up what do you call that, routers for her? Not routers,
the phone. So the newer people is on this board. Tell them about, this was all around town that this was happening, and what was she doing? What did she do? How was she behaving?
Rephrase the question so they understand you.
So when y'all first came to the city we were in to absorb within the family, she instantly began to attach herself onto y'all's doings and goings about.
Yeah, going on bike rides and going to,
which is fine, right? From the outside. No, and so I think y'all had some suspicion about her behavior, but as well as if initially she wound up convincing with a sob story, tricking one of y'all to go and put the phone bill, her phone, in your name or something like that.
Yeah, that was me. That was me. And so we went up to a Tislak, it was, and she was in the process of getting her visa renewed, and so she didn't have her visa card with the right date. And so me being, I was trying to help at that time who I thought was my sister, and I put my name on an account for her to get her cell phone.
Did she need to do it? Did you need to do it?
No, I didn't need to do it. No.
But she put you in the spot by saying, I gotta go to the store. She already knew her situation.
Yeah.
And got you in the store with her. And it was like, oh my goodness. What do I
put me
do?
on the spot. Yeah.
And I made her take it out as soon as I found out about it. She could have went and get a card. What do you call prepaid card?
Yeah.
That was a scheme to make Keisha pay for all her bills and just
to see what else you can extract.
to extract from Keisha. All right. So
that
go
as
ahead.
well. I mean, I wasn't someone new at the time. We were already roommating together, but that she was someone who was having issues with clinging to people that were new in the group, as though she was administering to them, that she was on another level in terms of her walk. But I can recount that there was another sister, I don't know if she could speak for herself, but there was another sister that was new, that was coming into the group, and she was doing the same thing with her, that she was someone that was new, and so she would falsify basically her image to bring people underneath them to, express another behavior that wasn't. And I do actually just want to go ahead and say that that Emily, actually, she was very irritable, hasty in behavior. She wasn't somebody that you could talk to reprove as a brother. And so that was some of the other issues that I had with her in the house.
So yeah, I didn't call her all, like I said, all kinds of crazy names. I didn't call her crazy names. I said she was crazy and demonic and unstable. And that she behaves like she's bipolar. Yes. But multiple personalities as well. Right. And she turned the people into the group against me. I didn't. So this is one of the things that I get accused of, that I'm turning people against people when the stories is concerning how they have been dealing with the people. My position is, when it comes to me, because they've tried to work it out amongst themselves, I come in and judge it. I'm not turning nobody against anybody. What has happened is that by the time the family gets together and they're putting their evidence on the table about what she's doing, the whole family can clearly see what is happening, right? Okay, they all have said that I've turned the family against them, and it was about what they was doing to one another. All right. The same people who I broke bread with and established friendship with just straight up flipped the script and lied to my face. Who was her friends, y'all? This girl, she didn't talk to anybody. She didn't spend time with anybody. She didn't make any personal friendships.
No, she's a schemer.
Talia stirred up an uproar. She shouted, "Do you want to move forward with somebody like this?" I got everything on video. I mean, I got it on audio. You'll hear it. You won't hear me shouting and screaming at all. I tried to speak to defend myself, but I was accused of deflecting and tried to make it look like I was a schizophrenic or bipolar. I got the audio. I'm gonna let y'all hear it. It's just too much to put it all in one, right? Those that already want to condemn me won't want to listen to the evidence because they want to remain in their mind convicting me, but they're going to go to hell for not hearing the whole matter out. I said no. So after about hours of this, I left the assembly, just a big house where meetings took place, and they were still verbally throwing rocks at me. I had left. I didn't even finish that. I had to go deal with some things, something with the clothing for some of the kids, or something for the video. I'm not sure. Something with the video, right? I didn't even finish that out. I let the council and the family continue to talk with her, and that didn't end very nice. She didn't apologize. I said, "How did it end?" And it's like, she said nothing. She didn't apologize. She didn't Okay. And so I have.
If I might add, please.
Mhm.
If I might also add, at the time, there was a time that Emily and I had separated in the house because things weren't going well, so I moved next door. And even then, as I guess an effort for her to be able to work things out before she left the group, she wasn't speaking. She barely wanted to say shalom, and she's still so-called in the group, working
Yes,
things
while she
out,
was
and she
still in the
lives
group,
right
she hadn't
next
been
door.
removed yet.
No, yeah, and she was, that last meeting that we had, it was discussed a lot, and you'll hear it, but for those of you who don't want to take the time to listen to it, it was impressed upon her. You need to make peace with your sister. You need to make shalom with your sister who just spoke. You need to make shalom with those people who you took money from and you did and are now acting like you didn't use them. So the brother who talked about in the beginning that he had given her money, she received it and she didn't acknowledge that she needed to give it back. And then my mom as well, the elder, Ima, who had paid her rent, that was another thing that came up on the table in terms of her needing to make restitution for peace for before she left the group and to acknowledge verbally that she knew she owed the money so that she would pay it.
Okay. So let me finish this up. In May 2020, right after the incident, I landed in Dante Forces. She didn't land anywhere. She was watching Christian ministries and other ministries and faith New Brew ministries the whole time. I didn't even know how I got there. In fact, she was on WhatsApp talking to men.
Yeah.
We had discovered that she was having some kind of, I don't know if they were romances or what.
Questionable.
But they didn't know who she was. They didn't know she was a 60-year-old lady.
And these are Africans, by the way.
With African men,
These are
yes.
and that's one
With
of the
African
reasons why
men.
she wants to go to Africa.
Yes.
Because she's a very lonely woman. And a lot of these men were giving her advances on her online, basically saying, come to me, come to Nigeria, come to me, Emily.
Yes, and they don't need, she didn't show a picture, so they don't know who they talking to.
Oh,
I know.
Also, I'm sorry. Also, at the end of that meeting, it was established for all of the group to know and hear that Miss Emily was making $900 in a retirement monthly and $2,500 from a grant that she received from, she was taking some school online from some military grant. And so she had easily $3,500 monthly she was going to be receiving for at least the next 6 months.
Okay, so I do got paperwork on that. It's just not with me now. If I have to bring it up again, I will. But yes, the woman has, she doesn't need money. Right? I don't even know how I got there. I was praying to Yahweh and asking the Holy Spirit to lead me and guide me in terms of which to go. I was working on renewing my residency visa for Egypt for another year, but I was told by the visa officer general that I had to exit the country for 1 day, then return my visa would be renewed. Long story short, on June 7th, when I returned from Istanbul, Turkey to Egypt, after paying all of the residency visa fees and re-entry visa fees, which was almost maybe like $80 or something like that. I got through the last passport station, my passport and everything was stamped, and I was heading to the last security man, $70, right? And she was making $3,500 at that time. We actually ran into, we thought she was stalking us. So she was watching our movements and everything because she still lived next door and calculating when we were exiting. But she didn't know what our plans was. So she wound up exiting the same and getting on the same flight. And we had to stop her. It's like, are you following us across the world? I'm not following y'all. How did you? She was in Turkey. We was in Turkey. She went her way and we went our way. What happened to her? We found out later because Justice and Yiska got involved. And she wrote letters to us talking about we stole spiritual widows' money and give us back your money. And Justice and Yiska, she decided to go back and get them the help. And the landlord, who is still friends with ours, very much friends with ours, was very happy she was going. But he wound up calling us and letting us know what happened. Right. And so you got that?
I think that was a WhatsApp chat.
Yeah, WhatsApp chat. So he let us know what happened. So we knew that we knew what had happened with her. Yeah, go ahead. Play it.
Hello, Rosalie. First, would like to thank you so much for the apartment. It was so clean and organized and for everything, and the time was we have together in family house and here. And wish you all the best and for your mama too and all the group.
Can y'all hear it?
Second, Emily, last Wednesday, she phoned me at 3 o'clock at morning from the airport that they stopped her from entering the country. She was coming from Turkey. I think she went to Turkey for 1 day or something and back on Wednesday, but he refused to let her enter. And she spent 2 days in the airport and she left to Turkey, as she told me, yeah. And now there is somebody from Nueva. She sent him today to collect her items.
Thank you, honey, very much. I appreciate you as well. And should I ever be in Egypt again, I will definitely let you know.
All right, that's Honey. If you got anything with Honey saying anything about her?
Yeah, but here, hold on. We can play it. But...
If I need to reissue that, we'll play it, right? So that's how we found out what was going on with her, and we knew it was Justice. And then I wound up, and I knew that she was about to play Justice again, right? And so I wound up letting Justice know that Emily is playing, y'all. She got money, y'all, because this has been her MO. What she's doing right now, acting like she's stranded and she has no money and no help, and she had $3,500. She's just holding on to it. So I knew we had no dealings with that. Let me pause this, and I'm going to show you. Okay, recording in progress. So his name is Justice. He changes his name, but right now he's known as Brokenhearted, right? And so they've been back and forth with me. Please, Sibaya, forgive us. We've made a mistake. Can we have your grace and favor? Can we work it out? To cursing me out, to going back and forth, like schizophrenic. And so when we heard about this, we knew it was him, right? You can see he says, your breath stink. He lights up like smoke when chaff burns, right? I will rise. Him going back and forth with me. You align your breath stink. We got it. And I said, what about Emily's income? Right? Because Emily wrote a message to Roz. We're gonna show you that message. And and I'm laughing at them like, hey, you about to get taken for a loop, right? Everybody just playing each other over money, y'all. Babylon. Okay, if you want to believe that, but I will be laughing as you take up her poor cause, knowing she's playing the both of you. She receives $900 for her SS since April, got the paperwork myself, and school grant for $2,500 per month as long as she continues her online schooling. Now your sacred esteemed breath and behind stink. And when he realized I was telling the truth, he was like, oh snap. And then that backfired, right? Because she was lying to them. That the same thing that she's telling y'all, that I left her destitute and I left her with no money and didn't help her, and I'm an old single woman by myself. She was playing that card, and he believed it. He questioned, obviously, he probably questioned her about it, and he knew Emily. And so what happened was that she needed him, she needed them, and he went. Let me show you his own stuff, right? I'm gonna show it to you, right? So now they want to talk to me. They were like, we're not linking our hands with Emily. For the record, I never told her to ask for money from your ministry, right? So this was like a continuous begging. And she wrote a nasty letter talking about, get your money back. You a spiritual widow, right? So now they want to talk to me, right? They go back and forth. So you can see I come lowly, all of this other stuff. It's not really about them. It depends on how they behave, because they back and forth too. Right? So this is today. He sees, he's online. He sees what's going on. That Emily and Kenneth, and they about to, join hands together and speak lots of hatred. And so even though he's participated in some of that before, he said, look, he doesn't want no part of it, right? Because he knows that it's lies. I have nothing to do with what Emily has done. I'm just now seeing it. I have nothing to do with what people are saying. People don't like you, as all those I have ran into have found out that they have a strong hate against you, right? Instead of chewing the cud with wisdom, they are ruminating hatred, right? I tell the truth, and we don't hate you, nor do we have strong feelings of hatred towards you? Now, I don't really believe that. They go back and forth, right? I had nothing to do. Now, I didn't call him or anything. This is him writing me out of nowhere, right? Emily and I don't even speak. I did not bring her to you. What is going on, right? You did bring her to me. Is this justice? Because I'm like, who's this talking to me? If this is true, when you and Yiska can do official video stating your time with her and the truth, your faces will be blotted out. That's fine. I don't think I'm gonna read all that. Otherwise, the silence of a true witness against a prophet will send all of those who spew hatred and try to hurt innocent people living livelihoods are all condemned to hell. Hatred is a real demon that wants to see the blood of Yahushua poured out 1,000 times. Our people are repeating the same mistake of our forefathers. And it's a sad face here because they're going to hell just by this. They think, this is the world. Babylon has allowed our people to behave like this with one another. No consequences. What? Church, no consequences. You're going to hell. But I hear that you are still speaking evil against me to those in the street. So he says, you heard wrong, Sibaya. I speak in truth. We have checked multiple people because of their hatred against you. So now he's saying he's checking them because they speak in hatred against me. We have made the mistake with linking ourselves with people who are internally wicked and that have no peace within. I bear witness to the hatred that has been spewed out of the hearts of the people that has been attached to your ministry. I never made out innuendos towards you. If I am going to speak, I will do it plainly. I warned Emily about everything that has taken place almost a year ago. She hates me for the reason that has nothing to do with me. She was banished from Egypt, which was her judgment of covetousness, and we could not get in the way of her chastisement. There was no way for her to get her belongings. We sold her belongings, which is the just due of one who walks in a heavy spirit of covetousness. Now, everything he's saying is true. She was okay with that in the beginning, then everything turned for the worse. She is bitter and has wormwood rust along with all those hating you. We are in the midst of chastisement ourselves for linking with people that is truly hell-bent on rebelling and misusing people. Our people are repeating the same mistakes as our fathers I have found to be true. That's his testimony, justice, right? Yes, I believe what happened was a judgment direct from Yah. However, the hate has become strong because of those who did not speak truth. The end of all of this is going to be sad for many souls I tried to save, right? You were sent to restrict and construct us through compassion. You can tire yourself out with people whose carved images won't let them have peace, right? And so I was like, Kenneth, Emily, Sarah, and Priscilla are all linking up together on remote to false witness. Wickedness at its finest, the word I received 2 days ago before all this, while breaking bread in script, was don't touch my anointed. They speak falsehood and come with smooth talk, handling the word without rightly dividing it because of the high pillars inside of them. So I send him this. He's like, wow. And I said, you can be no more help to this cause without giving your witness. So now he backtracking. Now he's like, if one come with a witness, we must call good what is good, bad what is bad, because it is not, if not, is blasphemy. We will witness. We are not here to do anything else but to stay our time with her and the truth. And so I'm like, so we could do a Zoom meeting, right? Willing, if you're able. Sister and I will petition on this matter. They're gonna pray and fast. We don't want to be hasty in responding, nor do we want to respond out of emotion. There is more expectancy for a fool than him who answers hastily. We will let you know. I said, okay, I'm sure that you're still moving in wicked counsel. A witness of what happened is expected in Torah to speak out fast and don't hold back truth. So he answered that. All right. Okay. So y'all see how they come, right? You see. Okay, what did you send me?
I sent you a screenshot of what she said to me.
All right, this is Monday, June 13th. Right after all of this, when Justice came and Hani made the call, and then what happened was that she got busted out for lying to other people about her money situation. So basically they were, they did what they could and they sold her things. I don't know if they gave her money back or not. It's not up to me, but I want to let you know that these two people were the one that carried her here with, 14 suitcases, 10, 17, I'm not even sure, right? They were the ones that brought her here and carried her here. So they were the ones that dealt with it, right? Hello, Roz, how are you? I am going to get straight to my point. You tell Talia, since she doesn't like me and I'm this mean and nasty person. She is mean and nasty, y'all. Based mostly false accusations, like mostly false. I want every penny of my tithes back so I can take care of myself. That day I was mocked and made to look like a spectacle in front of the group, and everybody laughed at me. I want it back in USD to say the same way I paid via PayPal. You and your mom got the records. Please send ASAP. Thank you. Okay. I got it, y'all. Y'all gonna hear it. Only the devil talks like this when he is in trouble. So you return to your vomit through justice and Yiska to plan vengeance in your desperation. Get out of here. Tell that faggot, just go. Well, I don't know what that's saying. Get out of our pockets, and don't forget to mention to him the 3,000 something you receive every month. We'll let him know just in case you play dumb again. Yahweh rebuke you, all of you devils. So that was what I had wound up speaking to justice when this came. I don't care what you say. I want my tithes money back. You all are the devil, stealing from the poor. Give it back. Wretched souls you are. I don't know how if the poor ain't got no money and we support the poor, how we steal from the poor?
At the point that you give your tithe, it's not your money anymore.
Yeah, they don't understand that concept.
Go forward. No, keep on. Okay.
All right. Looks like you are doing what you do best, running and throwing rocks, Boz. You must face the truth. You were walking in righteousness. I am still requesting my tithes back. I am alone and free from the hypocrisy of this group. Okay. And no, I am not desperate. You owe me for punitive damages. Look of what you all did to Kenneth.
He lost somewhere in Egypt.
Okay. He is lost somewhere in Egypt. Wow, you all have no conscience. Block me all you want to. Most High got the record. I got the record. Okay. Y'all, there's so much more. We'll unpack this some more. I'm going to let y'all hear the testimony. All right. All right, let's finish reading this out and finish this, right? There's so much more details. We at 26. In May 2020, right after the incident, I landed in, no, we read this, right?
Yeah, it's 226, it's 27.
27. Where's 27?
26 again.
I was working on renewing my residency visa for Egypt for another year, but I was told that the visa office general that I had to exit the country for 1 day. We read that. So we see that she got deported. She tried to come back and she got deported. She was denied entry. Now she acting like she didn't know about this. What happened was that Kenneth tried it and he got through because he was separated from the group and stayed undercover in his cabinet. They didn't know, they didn't have him on the list at that time, and he was able to come back. So she thought that she was in the clear, as there's another crazy lady who went and whatever she did in that city, she got all black people was being put on the list, all black people, not just Sibayi's group, all black people. And she was on that list and she knew it. And so she just thought that she was just going to be blessed. The Holy Spirit told her to move and it was going to work out, and she lost everything. And I had nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with that.
After paying the fee.
After paying all the residency fee, re-entry visa, I got through the last passport. I read this station, my passport and everything was stamped, and I was heading to the last security man so I could head out of the airport door. The officer who had approved me came running after me, and I wanted to see my passport again. Next thing I know, I'm being detained and questioned. Then I went from 10 minutes to hours. I had to call my landlord in Dahab, which I just showed you, to prove that I had an apartment. It was a very emotional time for me because I was traveling alone. Did she look emotional when she was traveling? When she was snobby and
Snobby. I don't need
right.
you.
I don't
I'm
need
doing it
y'all.
myself.
Right.
Yeah.
And after being detained, I was deported back. That's what happened. We found out. Okay. I was questioned. Then I went from 10 minutes to hours. I had to call my landlord in Dahab to prove that I had an apartment. It was very emotional time for me because I was traveling alone. After being detained, I was deported back to Istanbul, Turkey. I was not told why. Why? She understands why. She know it was because of other rebels in the group and this other woman that went around, another crazy woman that was floating around writing letters that we was the people and we were going to take over in government, and she tried to steal my identity. So I believe that she was sent by the government to infiltrate, because she went around taking pictures of all the Black people, my group and everybody, giving information online, where they at, who they at, that they was HBs, and everybody wasn't an HB, telling people to come on back and support her. And she wrote a letter with another guy who was on this list and other rebels from my group, and said that she had a group of 30 people, that she was a leader of Israel, a prophetess, and she had a group of 30. So she was sent to do what she did, right? And so, like I said, we got all kind of devils and rebels and military operations to thwart this return, right? And they all knew it, right? And none of them took the advice. And because we're moving together as a group, what one or two people do affect everybody. What 1 or 2 Black people did in that situation affected every Black person in there.
And also, this is a prime example of when Emily acts dumb, because this was actually one of the reasons why we had meetings, because this was happening to us. This was being detained, being deported, so on and so forth. And she was involved in those meetings. And so now she's acting dumb. Like, I don't know why. They didn't give me a reason why. We went through all of this, and she knows exactly why she was detained and why they deported her.
She knows exactly why. But then she would be giving credence to the rebels that came to infiltrate me. Right. While being detained for 21 hours at the airport, I was able to contact my travel agent in Dahab to let him know what had happened to me. And I also had him contact a lawyer for me to work on my behalf. So she was all right. The attorney discovered that National Security would not give a reason for canceling it. They weren't giving nobody no reasons. We already knew. We already knew. We had other people that was double agents that was telling. And we had a lawyer that was able to find out why. That's right. I am willing to share more of my story later. That's the story. Unless they making up more stuff. I have been here in Turkey since June. I have been watching Minister Forte's teachings, and he mentions your teachings quite frequently. So I decided to go and watch your teachings on your channel. This is how I got to you. I know I must leave here soon, and I'm asking Yahweh which way to go. Things are happening so fast globally, and I'm praying daily about this matter. I thank Yahweh for his grace and mercy towards me. Please forgive me for being so wordy. I would love to connect with your ministry. And that's really, she's just looking for another group to take advantage of. She saw the money that you pouring into people. They watching. All of them is following the money, and they're all users, right? So Sarah, I can't say Sarah is a user because she was working before she left, but she has her mother's money, right? So what they are doing, they are the blackmailers. Kenneth has attached to them because they need a man to stand up and do this, right? So now Sarah is going to follow behind, and they all plotting and planning. They were found in the visa, I'm gonna put the picture, they was together in the visa office. my people happen to be there and they were in the visa office together. So they're in cahoots. They over here acting like they just communicating. They have joined together and banded together and discovered which fool is going to be the one that hate me so much that's willing to take up their cause. And TEO, you a fool, because I'm not done proving that everything she said is a lie. All right, I believe that's the end of her statement, right? And I'm not done with Yakoba. I don't have to go out and find false witnesses against him. His own witness speaks against him, right? His own witness. Didn't he say he didn't want to start a group? Didn't he tell people don't join no groups? But he's starting a community. That ain't gonna be a group? Okay, he's telling people that's an occult when people could kick you out because you go against the grain. But we have this one saying what?
You know, and honestly, we shake the dust off our sandals with them, and we move with those who are trying to move in the way of the Most High.
We don't want no super brews, people that don't think like us. We shake off the dust, you can get lost, do your own thing, right? I showed you once again that your money paid for their land. They got the land. Didn't I say they got the land? Now they got to bust it. They mad because I'm busting them out. They wanted to get more money from you quicker to act like they didn't have the land, but they got the land. It has nothing on it. My report was that there might have been one family or one lady that's doing some farming, but they got to dig it. They need infrastructure. They don't have that. They need millions of your money. They need millions. Okay. Now, this Negro teaches people to break the command, that they don't have to be saved. He's false prophesizing, as I proved, and I'm going to continue to prove. I did not twist his words or cut his words up at all. I played out his whole phrases to his own questions and showed his full answers. And I showed his good answers too, to show you that he's double-minded. What is this about? His little T3 and me and all of that, right? They are shysters. Like I said, but JJ, steam shops and stuff, you bought a store. They're not entrepreneurs. It's just fronts to protect themselves off of your money. How does that help you? Okay, he bought land. The whole only a group could get on that land. It's acres, and they selling it back to you for probably more than double than what they bought it for. And I heard the witness on foot, somebody who went to the land and scouted it out and spoke to them about their business and said, I'm not doing this. Why the hell would I buy the land from them? The deed probably is not going to be in your name for more than I can buy the land for myself. With deed in the hand. This is a cult all over, y'all. It's the beginnings of a cult. I don't have land. I don't have a space. I never told anyone to come to me. We are spread out all over, but we communicate and we visit each other and we do what we have to do. We have children and we do school, right? We learn Hebrew together. We study Torah. I teach people to break the commandments. Can anybody speak to this?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Kenneth, you a liar and the truth ain't in you.
No,
It was actually that he was breaking Torah. Why he got put
And
out.
it was actually because he was breaking Torah. That's why he got put out. He wouldn't be truthful. He wouldn't even admit when he was wrong.
No, he
sat
would
there
not.
and didn't have a word to say.
Sat in his pride.
It sat in his pride. It wouldn't say nothing.
Say a word. He just look at the wall like. And after the accusations, no. So we could shortly talk about Kenneth from the new group. Do y'all want to be witness why he got put out the group? What did he do? I gave you one portion of the story that he tried to get my credit card by moving my covetousness and saying I could fire her and hire him, and then he got my back like mafia. If anybody try to touch me, this nigga's a punk. He's a punk. He is a good actor for a little bit, and he is a little funny. He's charming, and just give it some time. All right. But what else did he do that I said I can't have this any longer? After Yamima forgave him, right? Then this Negro was lazy. He won't pay, he won't do what he got to do, and the brothers is getting upset and I'm trying to hold them up to love their brother. And they like, but they running out of money. And one man is taking, right?
He's a bum.
He's a bum. He's a bum. Irresponsible, lazy, immature. Yes. Yes. Y'all gonna discover
And
all of
very
this.
ambitious.
Yes, he's very ambitious.
But
He
he
speaks.
doesn't have the steam to the
No,
longevity.
No, he doesn't.
To accomplish anything.
No, he clunks out. Right, he'll clunk out in the middle, right? And so you can see that he always just wanted to be in the camera with the women, right? That's only when he had a spot, right? That was that. He was not divorced. He was still married. He still was trying to get his wife, even though she still cheated with like the third man on him. That's the kind of punk we talking about right now. Very covetous, that didn't want to work. And so when someone is being a couch potato and a user, right, you got to kick them out and get them and make them get on their feet. So either he hustled people or he finally got a job. As soon as I kicked him out, he got back on his feet and he was able to maintain, right? He never, and on top of that, let me show you. I also, once again, I got so much heart because I knew he didn't have no money. Though I'm gonna show y'all this accusation, Talia, to steal money from people, right? I know that he didn't have no money because we just got finished paying for his rent for like the 5th time. All right, so let me show you. Go ahead, speak.
Yeah, so I wanted to give my witness since we're talking about Ken. So back in Hurghada, he told this young man that it was okay to not walk out Torah as long as it wasn't done in front of her.
That's true.
He gave counsel to this young man right in front of her mother and in front of you. And I also wanted to bring up another time. We were in Rosh Chodesh, so we're bringing in the new year. So he was caught up in conversation with a woman about worldly things. And when you said to keep the conversation holy, he became silent and didn't have anything to say whatsoever to contribute to the conversation.
I'm a witness to that.
So I also have one more witness about this man's character. Is that the only time he seemed to be comfortable was when he was with someone who ultimately didn't join the group because he didn't want to change his ways to not only align with Yehoshua's path, but he really didn't want to leave Babylon in the first place. And so that's the only time I've seen this lying bastard comfortable around any of the brothers. So Kenneth, woe to you and anyone that joins hands with you.
And you're going straight to hell.
They are. Going straight. So this is the mother who can bear witness what Kenneth said right in front of her face and my face to his son. And then the son, he can get up and speak too.
Yes, it is true. When we was at Hurghada, Talia and the council, which at the time Kenneth was a part of, sat me down to have a talk with me and my son, my teenage son, about my parenting and his rebellious and disrespectful behavior towards me. One of the last things Kenneth said to my son was, well, I know you're going to do it anyway, but just don't let your mama catch you doing it.
That's right.
Which was very wicked and against Torah. And in that same meeting, I confessed that my son often would use his dad passing away as an excuse to rebel. So on another particular time, another brother was giving him a strong rebuke about his behavior again, and Kenneth was present. And Kenneth gonna stops the brother and says, wait, whoa, brother, you know, his dad just died. So once again, he was trying to stroke the rebellion or water the seed of rebellion in my son, which is wicked. It totally goes against Torah. He never repented. And woe unto you, Kenneth, and all the stumbling blocks that you're trying to place in front of everyone, and everyone that links hands up with you and talks against Talia and the true servants of Yahweh.
Yeah, what are you? Go and let the son speak. Jaquil. Hey, young son. That's right.
So what my mom said is true, because he told me straight to my face, it's okay, basically in so much words, to disrespect my mother, and that just don't let her see it, and that it's just going to be that. And I was wicked.
That's what he said. And then he kept undermining the brothers, stepping in to discipline him. And he kept undermining it because his father was deceased. And we you know, we were there for the brother, right? He needs a father. He needs a man figure, but he don't need
A buddy, a friend. a
yeah,
best
nothing
friend.
like Kenneth, right? Kenneth got a little boy. That boy is bad as hell. Kenneth ain't raised nobody, and he raising somebody else's son, and now he got another son by another man from his wife. Right? So
I also
we're
have
not done with though. We can talk about Kenneth. We're gonna do Kenneth next, okay? Because this is long and I gotta edit this. And then I'm going to let Emily's the judgment that we have with Emily and see what I'm going to say. Now, I can't let everything play in the judgment, but it's enough to see what I'm going to let play, that Emily is lying and what I actually said to her and why, what took place. Another round of just see biased judgment. CEO, we're not done with you. I'm gonna keep, and once again, yes, I'm a woman that has led this group as a prophetess and made judgments to this group and to the whole house of Israel and to you too. But you are a man that is led by a wicked woman who does not believe. You are led by your wife, and you're going to die because your wife don't want to leave. And you basically say, if my wife, I love my wife more than the word. Okay. And then those two little faggots that you put up as princesses, I know for a fact of the interactions that these were, anybody that's watching can see that the women rule. They rule. I know these relationships 1,000 times. I would never even approve of this. I'm talking about in a marriage. The women rule. I'm not talking about support. I'm not saying they gotta be dumb and silent. And you know, it looked like that. All of a sudden they start speaking up. And I know for a fact that the women are argumentative, and there's been fights at the Shabbat table with other women coming in, and the women are totally in control. The men are following the women. The men have no vision. It's all the women. Right? So the women are the ones in power in this situation. Of course, they want to lift their man up, be like, come here, you speak, you look like you come on, you the man. Because they don't want to look like faggots. They both the same spirit. They're being led by their women. All right. And so what do you, Yakoba? You're gonna take on the rest? Let's see if you want to really continue this. All right. And by the time the slander that I'm going to prove is slander becomes so great, you're going to see. And the people are going to hear the truth. Not your wicked people, not the ones that worship your cartoon hidden face, the ones that's truly seeking righteousness. And anyone that is truly seeking righteousness knows that the house of Israel is wicked, that the world is wicked. Babylon is wicked, and the way we think is wicked. They may not know what is right, but the seeking and the searching and the asking is to ask, Yah, bring judgment in my life, but in your mercy. And that's what Sibaya is here for. On that note, anyone got anything else to say about Emily? I mean, there's 1,000 stories concerning her, but she's definitely a nasty woman. She certainly is. And she's crazy. And if somebody else tell me, why don't you pray for somebody? You cannot pray for someone who doesn't confess. What the hell am I praying for? If I'm praying for y'all to heal her of what? She got to confess that.
I would like to witness, not particularly about Miss Emily, but yes, Miss Emily's accusation about the assistant, which seems to be an ongoing thing. So I just want to say that I myself, in my own witness, who have received much support from the group, as I myself needed some separation. And even in that, I was given an abundance of support for housing, for apartment, for my rent, for my food, that all it is that I needed, I was provided that from the ministry. So I bless y'all for that. And also I see the ongoing continual statements about the amount of people that were in the group when it was formed. But I want to say that when Talia actually left the house and she packed up all her things for her to leave the first time, all these people, thousands of people, it was only 30 people that actually left to go out. And then she came back to Israel again, packed up the house, left again, because she is not someone who is going to lead the sheep. That's somebody who sets up a ministry, they get all the money, and then they lead the sheep. But she actually saw where the ministry actually needed the support. They still were needing help. And so in that, she packed up all her bags. She left the house. We got on the plane together. We left and went to Egypt. And it wasn't 100 people. It was about 30 people. And this seems to be in a continual number, actually, of the ministry.
Yeah. So that's what I got to say for now. Stay tuned. Because I did this, I don't know what's going up first. I did a Shabbat lesson before Yakoba came out on his cult leader. Like I said, initially from a Babylonian perspective, the word cult sounds bad, but then everything that he said makes me evil and an occult actually is in the word of Yah. To ask for 10%. If you got the Holy Spirit is the free will offering that says give it all, but we're not there yet. I would never ask for such a thing. We just proved that he lied, that I took people's, that I made people, or I told people or commanded people to sell their houses and their properties and give it to me or hand me over the money is a lie. That I enforce divorces and people, that's a lie. Nobody divorced their people underneath my ministry, nor that I encourage anybody to divorce. I was like, it don't matter. You're not getting married again, so leave it, right? Unless they want the divorce. Walk in Yah. And I don't have hundreds of people, and I don't have $1 million or $500,000 or $250,000. It's a lie. Okay, but the little bit of money that this remnant of the beginning of the remnant has occurred through the blessings of those that know me to be true from the board that I've been helping people. I'm not going to, I could take y'all to PayPal show. I will show y'all some receipts, but only what's necessary to prove the lies, right? But once again, people are stuck in the conundrum that I can't toot my horn. At the end of the day, all the people that I've helped, they got to open up their mouth, right? Because you didn't see me do that on YouTube like Yakoba. I'm gonna help this sister. I'm helping that sister. You didn't see me toot my horn like that on YouTube. All I can say is that I'm doing what I said, what I'm doing with the money. Right? And you don't see me beg for money. You see one account. You think millions of dollars. You see one account. That's called PayPal. That's it. I'm not here trying to scrape money from 1,000 different directions. That's it. And you don't see me beg. You never see me do that. That don't even make sense, y'all.
So I just wanted to end this as far as Malka has anything to say on a high note. I truly do bless y'all, even though we are definitely going through persecution.
You know they're coming for you though, right?
So this is why I'm speaking.
Yeah.
It's one of the reasons why I rock with Yahushua, Yahweh, through his prophets that just so happens to be Sibaya. I am a product of the cleansing of the word, of his word going forward, his word being planted on fertile ground,
that's right,
being obedient to the word of Yah when you hear it and you do it, and dedicating your life wholeheartedly until the end. So I want to encourage those who are watching this, that this is muddy, it's going to get dirty, it's going to get rough,
right?
But Yahweh is judgment.
That's
he
right.
loves judgment.
That's right.
He loves correction.
That's right.
When we bring Torah to the forefront, he is there because he said,
that's right,
where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, Yah Yehoshua, I am in the midst. So I want to encourage those, because this Yakoba dude is erasing all types of comments. Obviously, he's running his synagogue like a synagogue of Satan. Right? But what we're going to do is we're going to continue to speak truth on the platforms that we have.
That's right.
And we're going to continue to praise Yah, Yahweh, Yah, Yehoshua in all ways. Whether it be persecution, whether it be through gladness, we're going to do it all the way to the kingdom. Amen. So as those who watch this, it's going to get terrible, y'all. But Yah Yehoshua says that we got to take up our crossbeam, that what was good for him is good for us. And this is what we got. And to Yahweh be the glory for all that he's done for us. Woe to the wicked. Yahweh rebuke Yakoba, Kenneth, Emily, Sarah, Priscilla, and everybody else who believes this slander.
Oral, Vavine. Yeah,
Yah,
all of
what
y'all.
Yah said that there will be
Gaia,
a remnant.
all of y'all.
He said there'll be a remnant, which is a group who will be saved in
That's
the
right,
end.
that's
So
right.
let his word prevail against the wickedness and the evil slanders of these liars.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
They come with
Amen.
all kind of accusations, y'all. They come with all kind of accusations, accusations, and no proof of nothing. They're gonna come up here and talk about, see, she's talking about people's confessions when I can show you that people did not confess nor forsake. Half of the people, as soon as they got baptized, did it like it was almost like the devil came in, right?
Came out.
It came out, right? Right, and it was crazy. It was crazy. But what it's actually sad. This is what they do to the prophets. And I am a prophet, and you haven't proven and cannot prove that I'm false, because I'm not false. I did not know about Teotw's ministry until maybe 2.5 years ago. And if you go on there, you could, I'm gonna show you that I've only recently gone through his stuff to show his hypocrisy right now. But I don't know his stuff. I don't go through his stuff or anything like that. I'm going through it now to show his false doctrine. Right? I ain't got time to do 3 and 4 hours. I knew he was a scandal. And I always said that anybody that's behind emojis is either sent here to fleece the flock and run, or agents, right? And so I didn't have to, I already spoke to what a Teotw, but he's a false, he's over here switching prophecies on y'all. And like I said, he did go against the come out. I'll prove it. And he did speak to me first. I just proved that. And you can say cult leader all you want, but once again, we just got the word on that's what Yahushua requested. I know it was some dummy in there that said, why y'all keep trying to live like Yahushua live? This dude is an anti-Yahushua. He's anti-Yahushua. He's anti-Messiah all the way. But while he's telling you don't look to leadership like that, you don't need leadership, Holy Spirit, this dude is setting up to be your king all over Africa, right? Like he about to do the Marcus Garvey. And I want to say something to the whole thing. That's right. I spoke against Ron Dalton and what he's doing, because I spoke against him to his face. And I told him what he's doing was going to get us in a war. And so y'all think that this is just a information war, a debate war over history, that this is just going to remain some political kind of YouTube war and what do you call it? Media exchange war. Y'all are sadly mistaken. This is going to end off with bloodshed, your babies being dashed, your women raped, like I said, and your men being cut in the sword, like doo-doo in the sun without a burial. All of this pride and speech that people are doing, this is where this is going to end off. And this is what I'm here to warn you about. And I already said from the beginning, because of all the wickedness and sin that I did when I was young, and I knew better because I was raised in the moral truth, right? I was raised in the truth. I was raised in the commandments, and I was raised in the Torah. But when I got in my funky 20s, even though I was left alone, when I got in my funky 20s trying to figure out what was what, I didn't believe in the kingdom anymore. I thought it was a lie because of false things. I kept seeing false cults like the Mona and everything else. It didn't make sense to me. And it seemed like something was missing. When we tried to establish something was wrong. And I didn't seek Yah. I was all alone in my 20s, and I didn't seek Yah. And I sought the world, and the world found me. The devil found me, and I did a lot of evil things in my life and almost became reprobate. But I bless Yah for almost killing me twice and bringing me back to his mercy and grace, right? Bringing me back to his mercy and grace, and bringing me back to another opportunity through the judgment of hard life and much rebuke and being abandoned. Yes, I was abandoned by everybody, all by myself with no money and no food. I get it. To seek Yah and for him to bless me and bring me back underneath his covenant, the blood of the covenant, and his grace and his mercy and love and kindness. Are we married yet? Nobody's married to Yahushua yet. We're still working on our dating with him and trying to perfect that. And that in the acts of righteousness, we are not perfect. I don't say that I don't make no mistakes. We are cleansing and we are shedding off. And while I, as a prophet, will continue to do that, because we need to get sealed in the name of Yahweh. There's a latter rain and an early rain. It is a first outpouring in the fullness, right? The fullness. And then there's a latter rain where it's the fullness of the crown of glory of everlasting life. And so Yah has already told me that I have to pay a price as a prophet, that they were going to smear my name. They were going to try to judge up all kind of evils against me and false accuse me of many things. And they were going to lie on me just like they did Yahushua. This was why I really came to this scripture where Yahushua said, the master and the servant, what they did to me, they will surely do to the prophets. But Yah says, I use the prophets. I use prophecy in the end times through the ministry of the prophets, through the ministry of the prophets. And I use them to cut and kill with the word, to rebuke the false shepherds. And so I already know what's coming. I'm willing to take everything that I have to take so that the word gets out. And I've already been told prophetically that most of y'all, even the elect, will not believe me until the very end of my life. Did I not tell y'all this?
Yes, you did.
Yes, we
Yes, I
did.
did. Yes, I did. From the very beginning. That what y'all sending me to show the world, they won't believe it for the kingdom. And that I have to lose my reputation, my life even, in order for them to hear the word in the end. You will hear it in the end when the slaughter comes. So that's what I have to say. This is the testimony of my family. And there is more. Stay tuned. But even aside from all the muck, go and hear the message. Go and listen to the message. What all of this is about. Why is he by your hollering and screaming and rebuking these false leaders and false elders? Because they have set up a stage for a war against us. And it's not an information war. It's not a history war. It's not a YouTube war. It's not a CNN war. It's going to be foot on the ground, sword against your neck, bullet in your mouth, rape your mama and your daughter at the same time while you're watching. And it's not a legal matter either. That's right. Ain't nobody gonna sue nobody. That's not the war either. The war is not over finances. Yah blesses, he gives, and he takes. If this Negro does a confession session and reads the book to say, forgive us for breaking your commandments, statutes, and laws, and your covenant, that this is why we are going through what we're going through. Then by reason of mathematics, Negro, you don't know your math. The only way to undo is to return to the very things that we broke with the grace of Yahweh, because we deserve eternal death already. On that note, that's what I got to say. We will be back for everybody else when they decide to speak and with receipts. And I'm going to show you that we got receipts so everybody know that they real. Selah.